Hello, 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 hello. It is me, Queen PR, one half of those wrestling girls. Shout out to Krista B. We're back on Twitch for TWG Fan Club. You know, our wrestling fan club where we go live every Wednesday, me and the crew and all of our wonderful club members. Hey, Vaughn. Where we go through all of the notable things that happened in wrestling in the past week. We have had a very, 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 very busy week personally. Thank you for joining us. We have a busy, busy, busy show ahead. So I just want to get some of the business out of the way before we get into all that we have to get into. I'm a little sick, so if I sound crazy, I'm sorry. Bear with me. We're here. We're here with Fan Club. So, of course, I'm here with my crew. I love you guys. Thank you for being with me.
How you doing?
We love you too. Sending love, vibes, prayers, and disinfectant.
As Michael Jackson was saying, "We love you."
Like, yes, I love you guys. So, just released our Charlotte series. We have part 2 coming out next Monday. It's going to be a 3-part series because our Sasha Banks one and our Becky one did so well. So if you haven't, please check that out. We're back to episodes every other Monday, which is very exciting. If there is a woman that you think that we should feature, please let us know. We're always open to discovering new women and giving them, that spotlight that they deserve. So make sure you check out that Charlotte episode. Krista B and I also just want to thank everyone for helping us finally reach 10,000 Twitter followers. It has been a goal of ours since we started because our Twitter community is probably our most engaged community. It was one where we have most of our friends. We've met so many amazing people, including the people on this panel with me right now. So to reach 10,000 of that is just like unreal. So I want to thank everyone for following us. That was such a huge milestone. And it just really motivated us to just continue to provide more for the women's wrestling fan community, women in wrestling. A lot of women discovered our platform and was so grateful to hear, Krista B and I, 2 women of color, talk about wrestling. And that is really why we started doing this, one of the reasons. So that really means a lot to us. So thank you for that. And thank you to everyone in the comments congratulating us and coming back to Fan Club. Get your For Your Wear hoodie while supplies last. Shout out to Blue, also a part of our family. He has some designs coming up, a lot of things coming up. So make sure you follow For Your Wear, FORURWEAR. Get you those Wrestling Girls hoodie. They are amazing. I love them.
And if you don't like hoodies, we got t-shirts because boom,
yeah,
right behind me over here.
Yeah, t-shirts.
We got t-shirts. Hollywood Waters is wearing one right now. I got the other one right over here. They got t-shirts. You can also find these illustrious other stuff. Wrestling Club, boom. Breaking through glass ceilings, boom.
Oh my God, Vaughn, me and Blue have been talking about new designs, and I feel like that's something that might need to happen.
Stay tuned, Vaughn, because I have been taking notes on like certain shirts where like the girls got to come up with down the line. That may be one of them.
I love that. We are also celebrating Black History Month this month on those Wrestling Girls platform. Krista B and I actually have a YouTube playlist called Women of Color in Wrestling, where we spotlight Black women in wrestling, including Jazz, Jacqueline, Naomi, Sasha Banks. Alicia Fox is our most viewed episode on YouTube, actually. So make sure you go check that out. So we always, 365, we are celebrating Black in wrestling, Black excellence in wrestling, and that does not change in February. We're actually going to be spotlighting an indie wrestler every week here on Fan Club that we love, that is on the indie scene, that is doing what they got to do. So stay tuned for that. We might get a Krista B pop in later, but yeah, this is I'm very, I feel very blessed right now in where we are in those wrestling girls, where we are with these amazing people that are here with me and joining me. And after coming off this weekend and all the love and support that we've gotten has been like so overwhelming. So I just want to take a second and thank you guys so much. Krista B and I will be going into our 5th year doing this. So the fact that we just keep climbing and climbing and climbing, and we're now officially on the road to WrestleMania. It is a very exciting time, and I'm really excited to get into everything that we have on the show today. So we'll take a quick break, and then we'll get this fan club started.
Let's do it.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Krista B, one half of those wrestling girls, and we hope that you're enjoying this current episode that we have for you. You know, I had to come in here, interject, and plug ourselves real quick. We want to tell you about our merch exclusively on foryourwear.com. That's right, For Your Wear has all of those wrestling girls merch that you want and need, not only for yourself, but for your friends, your family, and your loved ones. We have t-shirts, we have hoodies, we have tank tops. So please go over to foryourwear.com to make sure you get those exclusive merch, those exclusive deals, and tell them that TWG sent you.
Always love that one because Krista is so pretty in our merch. But one thing I did forget to mention, we are live on Twitch every week, every Wednesday, obviously, for Fan Club 7 to 9. Krista B and CRISTINA, CRISPA Contreras goes live every Friday for Krista B Sounds Off. And we play, it's actually a new thing, TWG Classic. We replay some of our classic episodes every single Friday at noon. So that's a great chance to just kind of discover some new episodes. And this week we're streaming the Bella Twin Spotlight that we did back in 2019. Krista and I get drunk on their wine, accidentally trying it while we record. So it's a really fun episode. And after that, we ended up recording with Jobber Tears because we used to record at the same studio like that whole night, and they ended up having wine too. It was just overall a really good memory. So that'll be on Twitch this Friday at noon. I'm gonna bring up Seindole. Hey, beautiful.
Hi.
Hello.
I just had the day from hell, but I'm here with my friends, so it makes it better.
So good. That's what we do. We uplift each other.
Yeah. How are you guys?
Thank you.
Before we jump in,
I'm doing good. Besides the day from hell again, but we are right. The grass is greener on the other side. That's all I can say about that.
Got it. I love that painting behind you.
Oh, this luxurious, beautiful thing. Shout out.
Oh no.
Every day, 365. Y'all know how I do.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
So if you want, follow her on Instagram on Erna B Painting. You could get you a beautiful copy.
That is gorgeous. And I see the Strictly for Your Culture back there too.
Yes. Listen, we room for everybody black. We ain't got time. And you can root for everybody else next month. This is our month. It's our year.
Nope.
365.
Next month we just rooting for the women.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
Oh, I cannot wait for that. Fun stuff happening for Women's History or Women's Empowerment Month, whichever you want to fucking call it. But this weekend we all were kind of busy.
Was there something major going on this weekend? I don't know.
I don't know. Something. It was a little rumble.
I don't know.
Oh, something causing a little rumble.
Something on Saturday. Somewhere this weekend in Texas.
It was a little over the top. Let's put it that way.
Very much over the top.
Yeah. A little over the top.
It's escaping me. Maybe if I grabbed a chair and sat down and processed it, and got some lays and just threw it around, maybe it'll just come to me.
I don't know, producer. Hold the rope. Let's see what happens. Hold the rope.
All jokes aside, this Royal Rumble made like ridiculous history. It was like the highest gate, the most sponsorship revenue, the most engaged on social media. Like it just blew everything off the charts. I was personally excited for it because one, I absolutely love Rumble. but also it was the first under Triple H's reign. So I was just like, what are you gonna bring to the table? This is gonna feel so completely new. But I am excited to hear what it was like watching it live, like on TV, because Brian and I were there. But it's a very different experience.
Oh, yeah.
Jealous.
You know.
And proud at the same time.
Yeah.
Next year we all in the building.
Hey, calling it to existence.
We're all in the building.
It depends what I know.
Oh
that's
my God,
I know that.
I'm sorry, but to start, I was with the sponsorship, but I can never drink Mountain Dew. I just think it tastes like liquid mercury with coloring in it.
So this
know what it was made in a factory.
It looks like
what
your
almost got me summoned at work today. I was told that if I have this next week, there will be an intervention on the show.
As there should be, because Mountain Dew, bro.
Cody
tastes
like it really tastes good.
It tastes like grape soda.
I'm not buying it.
The fact that you drink grape soda as like a grown ass man.
I don't drink grape soda. So the only reason why I drank this again was the follow up from last week after the Pitch Black match. This is it. This is the finale. Like this will be buried and it will be back to Diet Mountain Dews.
Listen,
and zero sugars.
How you're selling this is how the crack dealers sell crack, and I don't want to do CRACK. So no, thank you.
I would say make better life choices, but I have Crown and Cup, so I can't really talk either. But Mountain Dew, Jesus,
it's good.
But unsponsored vitamin.
Let me drink
coconut water. Yeah, I'll stick to good old unsponsored coconut water.
Tried I want to know from who's watching if anyone tried the Pitch Black Mountain Dew, because they sponsorship dollars. The fucking logo was in the ring for the Pitch Black match. Like
no, the logo was in the ring. It was on the apron. It was on the LED boards outside. It was anywhere you walk. They had the colors. By the way, someone owes Naomi some fucking royalties because all this glow shit for a pitch black match and everything was glowing. If I'm Naomi, I'll be like, bro, I'll be like Soldier Boy on the Breakfast Club. Y'all stole my bar, line for line, bar for bar. You stole my whole fucking flow. Like, now we're glowing. This is what we're doing.
Let me just say this about I can tell, back in the day, WCW used to have their sponsorships all in the ring.
Oh yeah, no, they really did.
The Snickers bar. So I understand it now. Like I said, this is it. This is the finale. But I was mad because people tell you I had a question waiting for Bray.
Yeah,
I was like, yo, I said, yo, I'm gonna ask him, has he ever tasted it? And then sure enough, they was like, all right, next, that's it. He took like 3 questions. It was like we was back in school, like 2 school buddies at the no, pick him, he got the answer, like she already won her prize. You trying to make sure I got my prize, that's a real one right there. But it was fun being there, I have to say. And McAfee, I just watched that again, like
that was the best way to open the show.
As a mark,
I was excited to see him.
Yeah, as a mark.
And apparently the other 2 didn't know, so that was like a dead ass like surprise to them.
They didn't, because so Michael Cole said he looked at the spy camera and looked at Triple H and said, like, "Are you ribbing me?" And they was like, "No." And here comes Pat McAfee. So I thought that was good. Great way to kick off the show. I love the fact it started with the men's rumble. I know we'll get more into it as we get ready to tackle this rundown.
Yeah, but being there, I would say it was one of the most amazing experiences because I'd never been to one. I've always wanted to go to one, and it was actually a really, really good one. I'd never been to San Antonio, so it was just like so many firsts. Unfortunately, Krista B couldn't make it, but luckily Brian was out there, so we were able to kind of tag team everything together. We went to the Superstore. I use that term very.
They gotta wait for that.
Yeah. Good surprise.
Yeah, just because usually there's a lot more options, and the options were like extremely limited. So
really,
I don't want to. I can't even have anything about my friend.
And a lot of those superstores, you can only get it there. You're not getting it on WWE Shop. You're not getting it later. So it's like this weekend only. Buy it or lose it.
Yeah, and I think it was the biggest draw were like the personalized belts. I think like the custom ones. I think that was the big attraction. And then they kind of just like fell off with the other things. Me and Brian were looking for like the Royal Rumble, like the logo, like the traditional logo with like the red line, but they didn't have it. So
the shirts, the staff had the best shirts.
I had the fire shirts. Are y'all selling those? It was like, I was like, damn, that sucks. But yeah, so that was cool. What else did we do? Oh, being in the press box, that was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Cam,
shout out to
Cornell, Emily.
I'm
going to miss a lot of names.
Shout out to Issa. Shout out to Steve Fall from NBC's 10 Count.
So
we're just talking about the people, that we talked to, and but definitely shout out to our friends at the 3-letter. Shout out to them. So it was definitely a lot of fun, and just being on the floor. Shout out to my boy Marcus Garcia. Got the chance to see him for the first time in like 8 years, and we was watching the Royal Rumble on the floor, the Women's Royal Rumble. And like for me personally, to see Mia Yim come out there, and somebody who I was in the car with, I drove to WrestleCon when she had a big match against Awesome Kong in 2013. To see her in a WWE Royal Rumble, and this isn't her first, but this is the first time I got to see her in person in the Royal Rumble. I was there for her debut match on the main roster, but it was just amazing. And the women showed out. I don't know. I know we've talked about like the women's rumbles in previous, and I know you've always said that the 2019 Rumble, is that 2019 or 2018?
2018.
18.
Inaugural.
It's like your favorite, but it always seems like there's like a drop off in conversation until you get to last year for like the Sasha of it all. But this year I felt the storytelling, like you could tell Triple H is booking because he's booking the women the way they should be booked, like professional wrestlers, not because they're women. You could have a long-term story with Rhea and Liv Morgan going from 1 and 2 all the way to the last 2. That's something. When's the last time we seen that? Like, I mean, it was recently with the men, I believe, but I do know like it's most famous for Shawn Michaels and Davey Boy Smith. And now for Rhea to be able to do that, I always thought it was her Royal Rumble to lose anyway, but to be able to be in the crowd and just the countdown, that's the thing I'm excited for Justin and Seindole one day to go, is to be able to hear the countdown and be a part of that. The 3, 2, 1.
So cool.
Oh, I personally have. So P's personal favorite, the 2019 Rumble, I was there for that. So I've gotten that experience of like the countdown. And then you don't initially see who's coming out because you hear the music and then the Titantron hits. And then depending on where you're sitting, you might not see the Titantron. So you're going off of music and then you're like, oh shit, that's so-and-so. And that happened to be the first Women's Rumble. So that's when you get Trish for the first time. You get Lita for the first time. Both Bella Twins for the first time. Maurice, Michelle McCool, and this and that. But it's also that I don't know who's coming out when. Like I know when Sasha came out number 1, I threw a fit because I was like, fuck, that's supposed to be my favorite. She coming out 1, damn, she ain't winning. But it's cool to get that nostalgia of like you get to count and then it's like, all right, who's coming? Because you don't know.
That's like
it's funny you say that. Low key, I felt the exact same way when I saw Rhea was number 1. I said, what kind of fuck shit is this? I said, why the hell is she number 1? And I see Liv Morgan says, I said, god damn, the 2 people that I thought might win the shit, you put them at number 1, but I was proven wrong, and I'm happy I
felt
was.
they could win it though. I still felt that they could win it. The best thing, like I said, for me personally, one of the best things was that there wasn't that many legends. Just for the simple fact, they literally said, these are our gals, these are our guys, and we're trusting them. You had Booker T, you had Michelle McCool, hometown heroes.
That was
that's all you needed. Everybody's complaining about legends. I said this, I go back and watch old school Royal Rumbles. When I'm watching the 95, the 96, the 97, 98, 99, I'm not seeing many returns. I mean, back then it would have been like somebody like Terry Funk or Doug Gilbert coming back. But we got spoiled in the mid-2000s when the product wasn't that great because it was the legends. But this where they really said we're trusting our people, and I loved every bit of it.
Yeah, when you look at 2013, it's like literally maybe only 13 people main roster in the men's Royal Rumble, and half of them were legends, and half of them were people that should be legends and are active. This is 2013.
And Brian hit the nail on the head where once upon a time, for people who are young and don't know how long these Rumbles have been going on, you didn't rely on like the talent of yesteryear because you didn't have them available. Either they were in different companies or they weren't alive. So you had your roster and you had to make it work, and you had to tell the stories during the Rumbles and stuff like that. That's why the 92 one is so nostalgic. That's why a lot of those 91 Shawn Michaels going the distance was such a big deal, because you're going through the roster and you're not relying on guys that's like wrestled 10, 15, 20 years ago. And like Brian said, perfect. At some point, it switched to where we got so used to who comes back. We want the legends. We want the nostalgia. But then it's like, yeah, but it comes at the detriment of your roster, because at some point, those legends go away and you're stuck with these guys who could have gotten that rub and gotten something out of it. Now they're in a worse place. Like, look at what happened with Bianca. When Bianca came out number 1 and went a long time in that women's Rumble, the one where Charlotte ended up winning, it ended up making a difference because that next year she won the Rumble. Look what it did for Rhea last year, where Rhea went a long time and then was the last one eliminated by Bianca. And then you see this year she goes the distance from number 1. But if you have those legends take up spots to where like someone that can really use that rub right now doesn't get it. And then when that legend's gone, now you're stuck with this person that's on your roster. It's like, yeah, but damn, now I really don't care about this. Can we just get this person back? And at some point we got too reliant on that and it hurt the product. So it felt very good for the men's and the women's Rumbles to go back to
you know what that means.
You know what that means.
Rumbles. Here's one of them right now.
Sorry to cut you off, Justin, but just a brief as to how we enjoy the Royal Rumble. And I say me and Krista B. Krista B couldn't make it to San Antonio, but that didn't stop us from partying with our good old friends at Jobber Tears at Legends. Me and her, after we had one of the best ramen in all of town, we then headed over to the Royal Rumble and got excited with the rest of the New York fam. So shout out to Krista B for being the ride or die for that Saturday that we know we always need.
Listen, life was lifing, okay? And when life lies for one, life lies for all. And we got to come. And I'm sorry, like, we should just have a part. You should just have a part where I'm just like, insert Krista's car entrance, because I'm always in the car at this point. And I am sorry to be in the car.
It's Taxi Cab Confessionals, the Krista B edition.
Right, the Krista B Confessionals. I'm going to try to join again after this, but I wanted to interject really fast and say, P, I am so proud of you that you stood up and that you asked the question to Rhea. Everybody saw it. I went to work yesterday and they was just in today, and my coworkers was just like, yo, I seen Queen PR asking Rhea Ripley a question. Everybody at my job was talking about it.
And it went viral.
Oh, thank you.
And it went viral, sis. You are viral,
yeah,
okay?
WWE picked it up and went viral.
You are viral. Like, definitely proud of you.
I can't wait for Mania. Hopefully we're both there.
No, not hopefully, baby. I'm be there. Ain't no hopefully. Mania is happening. Secondly, Brian, to your point about the legends, I was one of those people who I like Rumble for the legends. I didn't think of it as, they're gonna use what they have and trust them wholeheartedly until you kind of like change my perspective. But we could have got somebody else from Texas for the men's. Booker T didn't have to hobble his ass down there. No. That man is 56 years old, and it shows.
But that other man ain't that young either.
All right, we could have got somebody else. Like, you know what I would have appreciated? I would have appreciated American Badass Taker, because he would have been on a motorcycle. You understand? Went on a motorcycle. He would have came and went real quick. He didn't have to hit no tricks, no spinneroonies, no limping, no nothing. In and out. That's it.
That man would have torn his ACL getting in the ring. No,
that spinneroonie was the cleanest spinneroonie he's had in his career. I was proud. I was like, he was up there. He had everybody fooled because he was doing the pre-show. So I said, dang, they gonna do him like that. And then when you heard the can you dig it? So I was like, oh,
yeah, but yeah,
I was like, they ain't gonna put Booker in. How rude! I said his own home style of Texas, but when he did that, and that was the cleanest spitting Rooney. I don't care what nobody say. I was proud of him.
Practicing that.
I think it makes sense.
That one.
It made sense. They had to. You can't do it in Texas
without Booker. I could have really went without it. I could have definitely went without it.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I just wanted to come on.
How was it watching it at Legends? Because I always say that's the second best thing. If you can't be there live, go to Legends with Java.
It was so much fun.
It was fun. It was fun, but at the same time, it was very like, oh, I thought you were gonna be there. P's. I know PR's there. Why aren't you there? Like, it was just one of those questions that you just didn't want to having to keep answering over and over and over again. And I'm just like, yes, P's there. She's repping. Like, let her be there. It's her favorite Rumble. It's her first Rumble. Let her enjoy her, and I'm gonna enjoy me here. We're gonna have to tag team from two different parts of the world right now, like two different parts of two different states, and that's fine. But it was very annoying. Like, I was literally fighting back tears because I'm just like, I wanted to be there so bad. But it was cool. Legends is always a vibe. I feel like that was the most packed I've seen Legends.
Oh yeah.
According to Wilkins.
First of all,
400 seats.
First of all, me and KRISTA, after I said we had ramen that was bussin', we walked around the corner and we see, y'all ready for this? There was a line outside. And me, Legends, girl.
They stand on no fucking line.
That's what KRISTA said. So, to Patrick, because I saw him and I went to go talk to him, but I also wasn't going to stay in line. I was just going to go talk to him. And KRISTA was like, hold on, because I don't stand on the line. Wilkins came out, then Black came out, and he saw us, and he was like, come on. So I told Patrick, I said, Patrick, act like you with us and just come on. He walked right behind this child.
On the line?
Oh,
yeah. KRISTA was like, because I don't stand on lines in the cold.
I said, girl, where you going? She's like, I'm going in the. You're going to stand right here because I don't stand on lines. Never. I don't.
We got downstairs.
That's like standing on line and go to like the house.
We
that's
get
how it feels. That's how it feels. Legends feels like sitting on line to go to my aunt's house or some shit. Like what? Like let me in. Like
the whole aunt's gonna be there. All your cousins is there. Like, why I'm standing on the outside waiting to get in.
And then when we get inside, we like, all right, let's just find a place to seat. We end up sitting in the underpass where all the little TVs are because the basement was already packed. Even though you go down there and there was just no tables and no standing room. They didn't want anybody standing down there. I found that out later. And then you go upstairs, not a seat upstairs. So when I tell you packed, they had the Knicks versus Nets game on. And they were saying that once they were like, okay, once these people leave, you could sit here. And once this person leaves, you could sit. Not a seat in the house. Mm-hmm. Not a seat in the house. It was packed.
Like on that, because that just goes
it's getting to a point
how popular their watch parties are becoming.
Right, I was getting to a point to where when they have these watch parties, and I said it's Seindole, that they're gonna have to close down the entire Legends just for these watch parties to commence. Because for it to be packed like that, 400 seats taken up, like people was literally trying to sit in the walkouts with their chairs just to watch Rumble.
They had people. Some people had to sit on barrels and eat their food.
Wow,
that's how crazy it was.
Yeah,
it was a good time nonetheless, but it was crazy.
Yeah, we gotta move on. But KRISTA B, thank you for joining us. Always have a good pop in.
You're welcome. I'll probably when there's more light. When there's more light, I'll probably be back, depending on what time I get home. But if not, I love you all. I'll be watching the commenting. And if I have to come back and sound off on something, aka Justin, because I feel it, I will be back.
Oh, Lord. Right.
Why you guys sound off on me? What the hell?
Justin, just brace yourself. Don't even question it at this point. Okay?
No, don't question it.
Don't question it.
But we are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. When she was developing like her character and stuff like that, And how at first, you know, going back to how hard it is being following in like such big footsteps when you're, you know, royalty, wrestling royalty, is they didn't want her to woo at first.
Yeah, they didn't.
And want her to be too lean too much into the flair thing. And she came out how everybody comes out or thinks that they should come out with, you know, the whole like, so happy to be here. Blah, blah, blah. That's so unlike her. Like I look at these photos and I'm just like, that beautiful.
She looked like she could be a Cullen from Twilight.
Like KRISTA.
She's a missing Cullen at this point.
No, seriously. Like,
yo, I forgot.
Yo, that shit was hilarious Charlotte, when KRISTA said that.
Yeah, I forgot that they didn't want Charlotte to woo until I watched that episode. That's why, like, this is the reason why I subscribed.
Blessed that she didn't listen to them and she woos.
They didn't want her to go too much into the flair thing, which sounds ridiculous now. Because she wears a robe, she woos.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine her not doing that.
Yeah. And I love going back, like in particular, like to Charlotte's career, because a lot of those like nuggets that people forget, like I can't wait for part 2 to drop, because we go into when she is brought up to the main roster up until WrestleMania main event. And we talk about her partnership with Dana Brooke that people forget about, and how Ric Flair was a part of her gimmick at one point, and all that stuff, and her turning heel. And it was very exciting, because when you like have such a dense career as Charlotte, like so many like ebbs and flows in her career particularly, you can go back and really like rediscover so many different things about her. And honestly, you gain more respect, because you realize like how the longevity and how she's been able to perform at the level that she's able to perform. And I think another thing too is like you understand why they're the 4 horsewomen, like how we said before, like how it feels like this is still just the start of Bayley's career. It still feels like Sasha is Mercedes still has like so much more to do. And they've already been, love it. And they've already been wrestling for so long. So it's just really, really like, you know me, I have my feelings about Charlotte, but please check out part 1 if you haven't already on YouTube, everywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Part 2 drops on Monday. And shout out to KRISTA B for joining us. It's always good to have her pop in. But speaking of Charlotte, let's talk about who she will be facing at WrestleMania, which I think. How did you guys feel about Rhea winning? Was she like your kind of pick? So I think she was
jumped up and cheered like a schoolgirl, and no one else did, but I don't care about what anybody else thinks. I was happy with it because I said she was gonna win. Because sis has to get her lick back some way, somehow, and her lick is definitely gonna get back at Charlotte at WrestleMania.
Did y'all see anyone else possibly winning?
I'm not gonna lie. No, I'm not gonna lie. For a close second, it was given Asuka. When I saw that, first of all, I want to give it up to booking, to Triple H, for putting the final 4 in that no one picked as their final 4, because everybody had everybody first of all was banking on Naomi coming back, but you know that didn't happen. It is what it is. But like for Asuka to return and be final 3, and then for Liv Morgan to last as long as she did, that impressed me. But for a close second, I thought they was going to give it to Asuka. But rest assured, I'm glad that it was Rhea.
Yeah, I think like this was probably one of the more odds-on favorites in recent memory. And it just made sense because I've always said this. She's been the most important member of the Judgment Day. And I know there's people who saying, oh, the Judgment Day should have been out there with her. No, they shouldn't have. I love the fact that Rhea was on Monday Night Raw making her decision by herself. It gave me the Triple H vibes. Remember when Triple H sat there with Jim Ross and requested not to do the interview with China? It wasn't that he was leaving her, but it was about him. You know, and it's one of his like famous shoot promos that, you know, it's like, you know, when keeping the kayfabe goes wrong, you know, but this made so much sense. And I love the fact that she went out there and did that because she is somebody the 4 horsewomen are established. Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair are your stars that's also established, but they're established for a different reason. And she will be somebody who will help elevate the next generation. All those women in NXT are going to have to go through Rhea and Bianca in the next generation. And I'm so glad she chose Charlotte.
Me too.
So I was on this last week and basically said like Rhea versus the field, because as a wise man once said, WWE will show you what they're doing if you pay attention. And the way that they've been booking the women of late, it's been Bianca, Charlotte, and Rhea. So it made only logical sense that Rhea is winning this Rumble. Now, me personally, I love that Liv was not only in the Final Four, but Liv was the last one eliminated because, you know, Liv won me some money. Shout out to Black Wrestling Pool.
Nice.
It's also a callback to when they were a tag team, and it goes back to last year where they formed a tag team, try to get the belts off of I think they were tag team champions at one point, and then try to get the belts off of Zelina and Carmella going into WrestleMania, where they came out with the different cosplays and stuff like that. And then when Sasha and Naomi won the tag team titles, they were feuding with them before Rhea split on Liv and ended up joining the Judgment Day, and then they started having beef with that. So it is also a celebration of what Liv has done this year, because you forget this past year, Liv did that, went to Money in the Bank, won Money in the Bank, cashed in on Ronda Rousey, and successfully took that title off of her, successfully retained that title, SmackDown Women's title, at SummerSlam. Big deal. Successfully retained that SmackDown title against Shayna at Clash at the Castle. Big deal. So we kind of forget that, yeah, they really pushed Liv this year, and Liv really did deserve to be in that Final Four. And then Asuka, Kana is upon us. We've been asking for this. We've been praying for this. And Triple H said, I got you.
And it wasn't even the face paint. It was that haircut that was like, oh shit, she in the building. Fuck everything else. When I saw her hair, I was like, oh no. I said, they ain't ready. Now they really ain't ready.
It was that slow reveal where she takes off the mask and she had the face paint with the haircut and the outfit. And I was at a watch party and I'm just screaming at the top of my lungs, Kana!
Yo.
The moment we
yes.
Really for.
But yeah, this only made sense that this was Rhea's to lose. So Rhea winning made 1000% sense. And also, when you think about it, she has history with both women. Her and Bianca go all the way back to NXT. And her and Charlotte Flair go back to WrestleMania 36. Rhea's your NXT champion. Charlotte wins the Royal Rumble. Charlotte chooses Rhea and takes that title off of her. It goes back to Money in the Bank. Not this past year, the year prior, where Rhea is your champion and Charlotte takes that title off of her at Money in the Bank. That was the first pay-per-view in front of a live crowd since WrestleMania 37, if I'm not mistaken either. So there's a lot of history with Charlotte, and there's a lot of history with Bianca, but Charlotte's a lot more recent history where it's like, I lost my title at Mania. I then lost my title again at Money in the Bank when we finally go back in front of a crowd. Yeah, I want my lick back. And then you bring in the 4 Horsewomen factor where the 4 Horsewomen, Asuka is on one level and everyone else is kind of like, not really a drop off, but like, it's not the same as like if I go through any of the Horsewomen or Asuka.
Yeah, and shout out to Janelle and Mimi who agreed with me when I picked them on the Big Four, which is on YouTube if you didn't catch it. But we all agreed that pretty much if Rhea wins this Royal Rumble, Bianca, we can see the Bianca because it's been slow brewing. Like it's been there. I've already said that I don't want a title unification. That would make 0 sense at this point. But this might be the time that we see Charlotte fall defeat at WrestleMania, because Rhea's not playing. Like Rhea reminded y'all from the pandemic when she said, when I was a young upstart NXT and I had the title, I put myself on the line to challenge her at WrestleMania. I was being too nice. I'm not nice no more. So you need a deviant champion. We've yet with the Judgment Day, whether she does it by herself, and she needs to do it by herself. I can see her doing this by herself. With the Judgment Day, it's going to be more entertaining. It's going to be more deviant. But with Rhea by herself, she's not letting that belt go. Should she go on to win at WrestleMania, it's not going nowhere no time soon. It's going to take somebody else to take it off for her.
And
I'll
keep
say
in
this:
mind,
just
Charlotte has only lost clean once at WrestleMania. WrestleMania 33 in that 4-way elimination where Bailey pins her clean. So only
I'll
time
say
Charlotte's
this:
lost clean at Mania.
the fact is that when you bring up Rhea, I can see her taking the Judgment Day to SmackDown, and you
Right.
know what comes with that: Ray versus Dom.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was brewing at the Royal Rumble too, but I definitely see that happening.
That's the thing that was missed out on the live crowd.
We know
was,
that it's coming. It's just Rumble.
Yeah.
Just remember that. Oh yeah, even though they're on different shows, this has still been brewing.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. You know, you had a woman leading the charge here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you really
Shout out
do.
to Rhea.
Amazing. And another thing I just want to say about Rhea too is she was able to like successfully build herself back up, and a lot of people aren't able to do that. Like she was the top pick, not because she had like story with Charlotte. It was almost like she's the, besides like Becky or whatever, but she's the star right now. Like she's on fire. She's the most talked about. Also, she is like amazing, like in person. Like she's very charming. Like I was like, she has like the it factor, like for sure. Like this is her year, this is her moment. And if she doesn't beat Charlotte, like it has to lead to something bigger, because she has to beat Charlotte.
I have to ask you, P, how it felt to be the one to put that smile on her face about a sub, because she looked like she had plans and you kind of like opened the gateway. So like we need to know
like,
how you gonna turn up.
I was really, 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 really nervous. So I feel like it kind of just like, but then when I rewatched it and then I saw, and I was just like, oh my God. I think because, so first I wanted to ask a more serious question, but somebody had asked it, just about like, women and things like that. So I was like, okay, I guess I could just ask her like a more fun question. I was like, Brian, what should I ask? Blah, blah, blah. So I like that I asked a lighthearted question as opposed to, because she was answering, because it's a big deal that she won. And just going back to what we were saying about the year that she's had, the last couple of years. So being able to ask her like a fun question was great. And then because the Judgment Day is, known for their camaraderie, like it was honestly the perfect question, I think, to end her segment on. So yeah, it was amazing.
And shout out to her for all the records she broke. Can we talk about that real quick?
Right.
So Rhea Ripley in the Royal Rumble, longest performance in a single Rumble with 61 minutes, breaking the record. So she's now your official Iron Woman. The first female to win from the number 1 position, because Bianca won from number 3. The longest performance, like we said, for a woman. The most career eliminations total with a record 20 now. And for the fact Rhea and Liv together lasted almost 62 minutes, coming from 1 and 2. All those records. Rhea Ripley just shattering shit.
And not to mention, earlier this year, she had a brain injury.
Right.
That she overcame.
I forgot about that.
This was during the off season.
Right. When she disappeared and then she reappeared with the Judgment Day, right?
Yeah, it was right.
That's why she couldn't wrestle for a while.
She was pinned in for Money in the Bank. She had earned the number 1 contendership to face Bianca. And that's when I said, oh, she's going to beat Bianca and they're going to have their feud. But, she was injured. So, man, shout out to her, because that's nothing to play with.
I feel like that whole... I just want to say just briefly that whole, not to differentiate the men from the women, I felt like with the men, you had an idea who was going to win and you were entertained by it. It was exciting, but it wasn't as exciting as the women. Like, to see, for me, y'all know I'm a big NXT stan. Goal this year is to go down to Florida and watch NXT live, because it's very easy to do, I heard. Very happy to see Roxanne Perez. Overly excited to see Zoe Stark. Very excited to see Indy Hartwell. Just the Royal Rumble overall, I like the fact that it didn't have that many women's legends. I love seeing Michelle McCool. I felt like she's an exception to the rule. She deserved to be there. It was nice of them to put her there, but it was just them. They got they lasted, I believe, each like maybe 5 minutes, a little longer than that. Roxanne, I know, was a little longer, and Zoe was a little longer, but they were impressive to the point where like, yo, who are they? And we need to watch more of them on NXT. So it was good to see that women's Royal Rumble all match. I can't wait to talk about it more on Scorecard, but it was good to see them, and I was happy about Rhea winning. So,
me too.
Do people want Rhea to get her? Yes,
go ahead,
Nikki.
Because I want you to answer this question.
Yes, Nikki, because her losses, even though Rhea's lost to Asuka, her losses to Charlotte were on bigger stages. Like I said, she had all the momentum in the world going into WrestleMania 36. COVID happened, so we get the Mania inside the PC Center, and then Charlotte takes that title off her, and it kills a lot of Rhea's momentum because she never gets that lick back.
It really
she had to go too.
And then you go into Money in the Bank 2 years ago. Rhea is your Raw Women's Champion. We're finally going back in front of a crowd. Money in the Bank, Dallas, Texas. The first time we're getting a pay-per-view in front of everyone since WrestleMania 37. Again, comes up short against Charlotte. Loses momentum again. Yeah. So it's not just you're losing, and then she loses again at SummerSlam in that three-way with her and Nikki ASH and Charlotte. So it's not only you're losing, but you're losing on like the biggest platforms. You lost at Mania to her. You lost at Money in the Bank to her. You lost at SummerSlam to her. 2 out of those 3 losses were in front of big-ass crowds. And you lost momentum every time that happened. So it's more personal with her than just, I lost the title.
Justin putting the storyboard of all the promo footage that's going to be in there. He's already laying out.
She had to rediscover herself, and it took the Judgment Day to rediscover herself to now, I'm not that same woman that you beat. It's like, you know, if you're playing like the NBA Finals, it's like, you know, Steph and LeBron. Whereas like, I'm not that same player that lost in 2016 LeBron. I may have KD, but now I've grown. I learned from those losses. That losing, like dropping a 3-1 series lead, it crippled me to where I had to rediscover myself and stuff like that. And this is Rhea's redemption to that, to where it's like, you made me drop at my lowest. And it happened in front of where everyone was watching.
Yeah.
So now you're about to see her redemption story, but she's a heel. So now she's going to be unapologetic and vicious. And I'm not calling Dom Poppy, but whatever that is.
I love it. God, she's mommy. I don't care what anybody say.
She got her Dom in more ways than one.
They're not talking about mommy like that when he come from the yard and start stomping on you. You know he spent time in the yard.
What else is good too? You know what else
That's
is
right.
good too?
He saw the mentors. He saw the mentors in the yard. La M.A.
She has like legit, like shit to talk about in promos, like real feelings, and I think that's gonna really work in her favor. Like you don't gotta write a script for how she feels about Charlotte Flair. Like she will go out there and talk her shit, and she's a heel, and it really is perfect timing. Like I'm really excited for her. Shout out to Mike.
And it's Charlotte Flair. For all things exclusive, Charlotte Flair is the premier woman in women's wrestling in any company. Doesn't matter who you like, who do you think is your favorite. Charlotte Flair is the fucking top dog. Right. So if Rhea wants to be that person, she's got to knock off the top of the mountain, and that's Charlotte Flair.
Yep, 100%.
Do we think that Cody can do the same thing?
Hell no. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't want him to.
P, go ahead, because we gonna.
No, because I am curious. So one thing I like mostly about the Rumble is that the surprise factor. So like I didn't like last year when they announced most of the legends that were going to be there. And so with Cody coming back, they played that promo every fucking week, numerous times. And once he didn't come out at number 1, you kind of knew he was going to come out at 30. And I feel like it kind of not ruined. I feel like ruin is a strong word, but I wish they didn't say he was coming back or he wasn't 30 because it just became so obvious that he was going to win.
You knew he was coming back from 30.
I'm going to get stuck in my head.
Chase my freedom. That song is catchy. Y'all don't stop.
But here's the thing.
Good ass song.
You knew he was coming back from 30 because we talked about this on previous fan clubs. A torn pec of that nature, and especially the one that he came out with and wrestled at Hell in a Cell, that's a major freaking injury. That's not something small. That's a big ass injury. So having him come out, like some people have said, why does he come out at number 1? Why does he come out at number 5? Because dude's coming off a seriously torn pec. That takes like, for some people, a year to recover. Because you don't know ligament damage and stuff like that, and he wrestled through it. So you don't want someone coming off of that major injury to be like, oh yeah, I want you to do at least 50 minutes in the Rumble. Hell no.
Gunther ain't give a shit about that pec.
Hell no. Like that. Yeah, Gunther's like, you're gonna learn today. Let's see if it's good.
Yeah,
I heard it in the far like in the section we was at.
See,
you could hear it.
Yeah,
for those who are listening that's never been to a wrestling show that involves Gunther/Walter, you hear those chops. You can, they're so loud, you feel it, and you're just like, my chest caved in. And I didn't even get slapped.
Side note, y'all remember last year at WrestleMania? I don't know if I didn't see it, but I remember hearing the story. It might have actually been on and it might actually been on a Thirsty Thursday when if Ron came before his match with Bougie, but he talked about Shane Taylor was taking $50 payments to chop people.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
outside
in
Dallas. You know,
I heard that.
I know because
he talked about it on Coffee with Rev.
Yeah, because like that day, so night 2, me, Krista, and P went. We traveled together to WrestleMania and went to McDonald's. And Ron had hit me, was like, yo, come through. We got a little tailgate session or whatever. And, you know, we didn't get a chance to make it. But, like, when he came on here and, you know, I heard him talking about how he was just sitting up there, like, making money off it. I'm like, yo.
I think that may have been the tailgate I was at because I was there with, like, Hit Row. And then I went with, like, Issa and a bunch of people from Wrestling. But there was someone that was like, yo, pay money, you get chopped. And then, like, all right.
It was like $50 at that.
But someone did it, and we were just like, you're a brave soul. So then you see them getting ready and trying to, I got this. All of a sudden you just hear, and we're just like, he crumbled him because like it was a white boy, but his chest got so red so fast. It was just like,
famous his chest looked.
Even Hit Row was just like, bruh. Oh, why would you pay for that?
I'm sorry. As much as I love wrestling, I don't know if we were talking about it on Fan Club and like everyone, or Wilkins, I think, has said it on Fan Club where every wrestling fan should take a bump.
Yeah, I heard him say that.
No.
And I was like, I don't know about.
I'm good.
No.
So I might
take a chop.
Honestly, I'd take a bump before I take a chop. I've taken a bump before. It hurts, but if you make sure you tuck your chin, right? Like so I'm gonna break the fourth wall real quick. I asked Bougie before the first match, right? I said with him and Ron, I said, do you want to hit me? I've only taken like 2 bumps, so I'm not, you know, it's like swimming, right? You know how like you gotta get yourself up to like where people get instant, like I can't do it. Like I gotta like gather myself together before I jump in the water and hold my breath, where some people get just like about to fall. That's how taking a bump is, where you get used to just like automatically tucking your chin. So I said, if you hit me like and knock me forward. And he was like, no, I'm gonna just get in your face and mush you. I said, all right, cool, we can do that. But a chop, I'm thinking like you could damage something up in here. You know, like you fall on the ground. Okay, like I'm conditioned now not to, because I've watched so much wrestling. Like if I'm walking on ice, I don't try to catch my fall, because I feel like if I try to catch my fall, I'll break my arm. So I'll just go and just let myself go. But yeah, I respect Wilkins. I understand what he's saying, because in the point what I got from him was respecting the craft and the business, right. And you know,
which it's important, and I'm sure your respect for wrestling is gonna grow after taking a fucking bump.
There's other ways to do it.
There's other ways. You know what ruined me for chops forever? Shout out to MTV's Geico, because it was the episode where they had Schultz and Chris Stefano get in the ring with Big Show, and Big Show was like, "I'll show you a couple moves and stuff like that." And Big Show legitimately chopped the shit out of, I forget which one it was, but he chopped him, and dude's like, "I can't breathe. Like he crumbles, and he's just like on the ground, like." And that was just one chop from Big Show. He's like, "I can't breathe. My chest hurts." And the other guy fucking runs out the room, like, "I want no parts of this." So when it comes to chop, and then being at shows like in New Orleans, I think it was an Evolve show. That's where I got to see Walter for the first time, and I was front row. So to see that,
and he was bigger,
up close, and he was bigger. So when you see those chops and hear those chops, you're just like, you could pay me $10 million. No,
he looked like he don't give a fuck.
No.
I might take it for 10 million because I'm disappearing.
This chest is not taking chops from any fucking body. No.
Not fucking.
Give me a bump. Give me a bump.
No. fuck out of here. But I want to show the clip from the press conference that Brian was able to catch, if we can, and then I want to go into how Seindole scored.
Shout out to WWE for those press conferences, by the way.
Yeah, I really like
it to where now we know to expect it.
Very much so. I love it.
I know a lot of people on social media have their opinions and talk a lot of shit on these press conferences, whether they're in mediums or not. But shout out to these press conferences, because sometimes you do get to learn and see people outside of when you drop the shit, and you get to have like an actual, they answered this.
Right.
That's really cool. So
it's new, and they really have a great way of that treading the line between kayfabe as well. Because at the Survivor Series press conference, Roman Reigns was absolutely like the tribal chief. Like he like got up and like left mid question. Even Bray Wyatt, it was very quick. He didn't say much. So he kept it short and sweet enough where you can't really make any like interpretations, because his character is so dense in the story. So I think what Triple H has been doing with the press conferences have been amazing. Seeing all those women in the press conference, we shouted out like the Ella Jays and the Isas and the Emilys of the world.
Denise Salcedo from Fightful.
Yes, there was so many
just great, talented people in that room.
Right. So we'll play a clip from that, and then we'll go into how Seindole scored these Rumble matches.
Over on the far right. There you go.
Hi, Rhea. Congratulations. I'm Queen PR of Those Wrestling Girls. How do you plan to celebrate with the Judgment Day on your victory today?
I don't think I can say that on camera. I mean, the Judgment Day, we get pretty wild when we party, you know. There's a lot of things that go down, and I might get in trouble if I say anything, but there's definitely going to be a good old Judgment Day party. Dom Dom's going to get rowdy, Bruce is definitely going to get rowdy, and Finn Balor's going to get rowdy, so, and I'm going to celebrate, I don't care.
I'm about to get rowdy with you. Cheers.
And Mike know what's up. He know what's up. She definitely smiled at me. She definitely, like I said, she's very charming.
She low-key heard of us. I ain't trying to hear that. She's heard of Those Wrestling Girls.
Low-key?
Not even low-key. High-key.
Sure, because I'm chief. My first tweets at least. Because I'm just like,
10K? I've heard of y'all.
Listen, if I would have asked her that question, I'd have been like, where's the party? And I'd fuck all the professionalism, because mommy, I already know if I had a gender pass, that's that. Period.
But we're actually hitting the top of the hour, so I want to remind people that we do watch AEW Dynamite as a family.
Yes, we do.
So keep us on. We'll be I think we're gonna try to, if we can fit in Red Velvet and Jay Cargill match. If it comes on in this hour, we'll definitely watch along with everyone and give our comments. But now I want to hear from Seindole. How did you score some of these matches? It's time for Seindole's scorecard.
Oh boy. I feel I'm gonna ruffle some feathers with these decisions. Ooh. So hear me out, right? This was so hard for me. I watched the Royal Rumble back 4 times, and you can ask Brian. I had the scorecard to you by, was it Tuesday? Sunday. I watched this match on Sunday 4 times. I watched both 4 times.
Wow.
Because I'm trying to take this more seriously. I'm trying to grade fairly. I'm trying to grade respectfully. And there's 9 people in the chat, and it's freaking me out because they might not like me. But these are your ratings for both the Women's Royal Rumble match. This is the 4th one. And we talking about Bianca Belair versus Alexa Bliss. We're going to go into Alexa Bliss versus Bianca first. I give it the 4.1. Because I feel like if you go and tease me with Uncle Howdy to interfere in a way and play a psychological fair, I feel like the way this was written, I feel like the buildup that was done on it was perfect. Like you couldn't touch how this buildup was. It was good for a lot of people not to know where Alexa's like angle is going, and to give that mystery, and then you had even people doubting that Alexa Bliss couldn't like lose to Bianca. You have people doubting Bianca. I never doubt the queen because she's Bianca. She's I'll never do that. That would be a cold day in hell. It'd be a cold day in Lucifer's hell before I do that. But it was mid. Like, I'm sorry. It was mid. It was mid. But for the women's Royal Rumble, I already spoke about it earlier. The reason why it's gotten a 4.7 was because it would have gotten a 4.1 if I saw so many damn legends. And I'm sorry. I know legends bring out this special formality and all this stuff. And a lot of people were up in arms that none of their favorite past women were called up for Raw. Sorry? Like... Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but I don't care. Like, I like this format. Give me a little bit of who we care about now, who we should be, because it's already hard enough to focus on the people that are there now. You had history. You had old feuds visiting new feuds. You had Liv and Rhea reliving their tag team days and their demise. You had the beef with Damage Control and Becky still going. Then you added Candice LeRae, who also has beef with them. Then you had Tegan Knox, who got past beef with Dakota Kai. Then you had Asuka just coming back and being freaking Kana. Then you had half the NXT, who we know everybody loves down the NXT, showing up and showing out. Like, you had Shawn Michaels has favorite in there, who's Zoe Stark. You had Indy Hartwell, who everybody wants to come to main roster, not because of Dexter Lumis, but because they genuinely like Indy Hartwell. You had freaking, even though you have Roxanne Perez, who's a prodigy, who's hometown Texas. She's from Texas. She rep Texas through and through. You had Raquel Rodriguez, who's also from Texas in there. Everybody who needed to be in that match was in that match. Even Michelle McCool wrestling in Uggs. Much respect, because I don't know how she did it.
I love that moment. Oh, I forgot to mention how much I love that moment.
Her daughter was like, "Ma, they're calling you. Give me a jacket. Give me the jacket."
Like, what? Me? Now? All right, I guess it's my time. Here, take my jacket.
Also, she said that she didn't know, like she was told very short notice that they were going to do that. So that goes to show like how much she's in shape, how much she's always ready. Like,
yes,
I love the look on her daughter's face.
Like
her daughters look so excited.
That was they were like, the look on. Yeah,
her daughter was like, "You taking too much time. You only got 10 minutes. Get ready. Give me." She was taking it off of her mother.
Give me the jacket. Give me the chain. Give me.
Because one of their daughters is training too.
Yes, one of the daughters is training.
Really?
Yeah.
How old are they, little nuggies?
Teenagers. They're training. Come on.
Say that again.
Your father is the dead man, and your mother is Michelle McCool. Like, who the hell not going to let that? Who going to not let that happen? Who? Come on,
Uncle Kane.
Never mind. We don't call him out anyway. Y'all can tell me what you guys think. Y'all could throw tomatoes, y'all could throw bricks at me, but I'm sorry. those are my scores for those two matches.
I mean, if we throwing bricks, we fighting someone.
Justin, you gonna go last? Justin, you gonna go last. I'm afraid what you're gonna tell me. Somebody else go first. I want to hear Justin last because I'm afraid how I don't know. I feel like some people not going to like me because of the whole Bianca and Alexa. You got to go last. I'm sorry. Somebody else go first.
So wait. So let's look at this again, right? Because you gave Bianca and Alexa. Oh, that's the wrong one. My bad. You gave them a 4.1.
Yes,
that's generous.
Oh.
I didn't think it was a great match, but I didn't think it was a bad match. But I think a lot of people would say that was in the threes. So I didn't, and I mean, I've seen some of your grades before that I didn't agree with. But I had a previous scoreboard up, so I'm gonna look at that so we can go back and reference.
Give me the one that you disagree with.
So no, listen. So like, I think it was better than Shotzi and Ronda Rousey. What was this? This was Survivor Series.
This was Survivor Series. I gave it a 3.1. That deserved to be a 2.5, but I'm not going to go that low. I'm not rude.
No, but I honestly thought you was going to give Bianca and Alexa, because especially the timing, I thought it was going to be in the 3s. I didn't see it getting in the 4s, but with your explanation and like you said, the storytelling of it all,
it's in the 4s because of the ending.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's what this is me appreciating one, all that you put into this, but also understanding why. This is the reason why I said I'd rather pay attention to your scores than DM scores, because I know that you didn't come with a TBS or a TNT bias because they like you and they call you uncle or auntie. So I enjoyed this. But I like I said, that's what surprised me personally.
Appreciate it. P.
So because that was the match, like, of course, like, it's like Bianca, but like that was the one when I was just kind of like, it was short. I don't know, is it gonna like, it's not even gonna continue, it seems like, the feud, and I guess it was all about setting up Alexa with Bray, but we still don't really even know the conclusion of that. So it was mid, and I think that score was
generous. Damn, like here I am. I'm like, I'm looking at it at first. At first, we were at a 0.45, but then I'm watching and I'm like, no, like this is mid. It's not like, even I think Krista could agree. Like the people we were sitting with at Legends said thing. They were like, that wasn't like, I didn't care for this. Like no one really cared for it. We all love seeing Bianca. Bianca's going to shine through regardless. But it's just, it
also felt like we need to trim some part of the show for the live performance.
Right.
Let's cut the women.
Don't talk about that live performance because that's going to piss me off even more.
That's a sound off for later. For that
leave that.
Hardys,
leave that on Friday. We're going to leave that on Friday. We're going to keep the vibes
and Jeff. Leave the Hardys to Matt and Jeff.
Yeah, we're not touching that.
Nah, but they had a lot of his merch out. Like, clearly, this was supposed to be a big promotional push for him. Like, they went in.
They could have gave that shirt, P. They could have gave his shirts to the workers and let us get the shirts that the staff.
I know, right? Like, because nobody was buying them shits.
I wish y'all could have seen like the shirts that the staff had on. It's probably one of the videos.
Classic. It was just like the Royal Rumble logo.
I'm assuming it's like some of the ones that they rock at like Mania, where it's like dope as hell. It was like, can we get one? It's like,
because
no.
When I heard this guy coming out, this Hardy guy, right? I thought they were gonna give it to us the way, if you watch old NXT, like gold and black first edition NXT with and the Adam Cole's, they used to have these kick-ass beginning performances. Like I got into a female rocker because of that beginning, and the theme song was lit. So I thought it was gonna be that. I thought it was gonna be, but then I'm hearing this like country hick. First of all, ain't nobody in the crowd. First of all, the crowd gets a 5.1 for putting up with that shit. First of all, because that crowd was dry, but you could tell nobody was bopping to that shit.
Everybody went to the bathroom. Everybody went to get their drink.
Yeah,
I did too.
And also,
they're giving the crowd in Texas a 5.1 just for that.
Can I get a commemorative cup? Like, I don't want to listen to this Hardy. Is that Jeff? Is that Willow? No, then fuck this Hardy.
Had me up till 12 o'clock in New York. We left at 12. We left at 12:15 because of that stupid ass performance.
But salute to those wrestling girls.
It did go late.
But salute to those wrestling girls, because they posed a question on Twitter, which was a very great question. When do musical acts performing at a wrestling show work? And there's been a couple for me. Like, I think of WrestleMania 18, where I think it was Limp Bizkit performing to where the Dudley Boys came out. I think of WrestleMania 30, where the band that does Bray Wyatt, OG Bray Wyatt's theme, was performing while he came out with Eric and Luke. And then also that same pay-per-view where the same band that does Randy Orton's theme was performing while Randy Orton comes out with the champion. I think of NXT TakeOver, where like the band that did Aleister Black's theme performed them out. I think it was TakeOver New Orleans. And also the same one did it for Athena, aka Ember Moon, when she had that theme. So it does work for certain people and certain entrances. It just depends on the shows because there's been more misses than hits, but when it hits, it does really hit.
But see, that's the difference, though, Justin. It's better when it's an entrance versus just a performance, because the entrance, you're ready for the match, you're hyped, you're excited, and then that person, you hear that live theme song that you're familiar with, as opposed to just some regular music. You know, I think even at WrestleMania 28, the theme for the Hell in a Cell match was Metallica, The Memory Remains.
Yes.
I think if they would have done a live performance with Metallica, it would have worked, but they didn't. But with the coolest moment, when they played the music to the cell lowering, that was a moment. But when you're playing theme music to lead a wrestler in, is better than just saying, hey, here's a performance.
My favorite one, literally, I was in New York. My first WrestleMania was New York, New Jersey. I think PU were also there the first time they came to MetLife. When Diddy performed, there were more people bumping to that in my section because I was around the drunk people, so they were bumping to everything. But when I watched Living Color perform for CM Punk,
I'm still jealous of that.
I love Living Color so much. I teared up I was like, yo, this man literally, he was like begging for shit like this, and then he bought a black band to sing his theme song. That's when it fits. Not you tearing up the fucking ring and taking away time from my tribal chief.
That Velvet album is banging.
I'm gonna give you a failure though. Flow Rider at WrestleMania 33.
Oh, yeah, nobody loved that.
But Flow Rider, that was also Pitbull, and that was someone else though. So that was like Pitbull.
Well, he's the only one I remember.
Like
but that's like when we, back to T Wrestling Girls on Twitter. Back to that question. That's the ones like, it's just like, what are you doing? Because that was another one. So for me personally, I get up and go to the bathroom. It's like, thank you.
I just don't think musical performances, like outside of entrances, it just breaks up the energy. It just doesn't have a place for me. I feel like it just feels, it's like we're cheering our heads up for a Rumble match, and now we're pausing to watch a country music act.
Yeah, no, it didn't make any sense.
But I think about like Poppy, for example, in NXT. I thought she was perfect because
that's who she is.
She had a quirky personality, like that works. Like I don't know. So
you know what that feels like, and this is for the old heads like me who are older than like 33 out there. Remember when WrestleMania used to have like actual hard, like we're going on break? That's what those musical acts feel like, where it's like, all right, this is your break time. But instead of like we're just cutting cameras and then having a countdown for like 5 minutes for when y'all to come back, we're gonna have this musical act, and that's your hard break. That's what that feels like.
And Dre made a good point in the comments. We heard the song a million times, so it's like we don't care to hear you now perform it live. Half of us don't even know what the fuck you are.
It depends on the song because like takeovers have had some banging things where it's like I would love for y'all to do that live.
JD Williams,
Takeover Philly, Takeover New Orleans, like perfect example. Takeover New Orleans. They had a banging theme and they opened the show with them performing it, and it was fucking perfect because it was like, this is a hard banger, but we're not going to split up the show to do it. We're going to give it to you right out the gate. We're opening with this before we get to the ladder match. And it just hit where it's like, let's fucking go. Let's go. Now we're there. But so that's one of the rare times where it does work. But that was at the beginning of the show before we got to the show.
Right. So let's we still have more Royal Rumble shit to get into later on in the show.
Yeah, because right now on AEW, Moxley and Hangman Page are beating the shit out of each other. Like Moxley's face is beyond
still don't care.
Red.
Oh God, I'm shocked.
Oh my God, I cannot wait to watch more hepatitis all over the mat, and it's been 8:15.
Yes.
And yes, Moxley is bleeding.
Oh God, more hepatitis. Go ahead.
Go into a break. We're gonna take a little pause on the Rumble talk and celebrate some Black excellence, some Black History Month. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. That I think we've always kind of planned to do, is be able to do a spotlight episode on someone, and then hopefully hear from them. So Yeah, I think we should just introduce our guest of honor.
Right.
Jazz, let's do it.
He's here?
Let's do it. Yeah. Jazz is here.
Oh my gosh.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. This is I'm fangirling right now. I'm so sorry.
we get like just a minute just to fangirl real quick. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Y'all gotta watch the whole. Y'all gotta subscribe to the channel to get the whole thing.
The whole thing. That was one of the best interviews.
Yo,
one of my top 5.
I remember, like, I know I've told P and Krista this, but I remember watching that live, just sitting there, like, it was like, reason why I remember it so much is because it was like one of them work days that was just like driving me crazy. This was I was working at Johns Hopkins in media relations, and it was just like, so I was like, okay, Jazz, spotlight on Jazz, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, this is a dope conversation. Then boom, Jazz comes on the screen, and I don't know if P remember, but I had like tweeted y'all. And I was like, oh, this is so freaking cool. Like, I'm so glad to see like Jazz get her flowers, and the fact that y'all was able to, speak with her. And then, seeing her again several weeks ago. So yeah, y'all got to go to Those Wrestling Girls YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button like I did. Also, make sure you check out all the playlists. I know that's your part, P, but I got in my rambles.
Cheap plug.
I like the plug because we do. Brian knows these. I spend a lot of time curating our playlist on our YouTube channel, and one playlist that we do have is women of color, celebrating women of color. So please check that out. Just put the playlist up and binge it. Like, it is really, like, we got Jazz, we got Naomi, we got Sasha, we got Alicia Fox.
Alicia Fox.
It's literally, but like, it's literally something there for every women's wrestling fan of all types. So if you're a fan of the golden era, they have episodes talking about women from the golden era, attitude era, ruthless aggression era, today's era, and then just the celebration. And like I said, just to celebrate Jazz, especially in Black History Month, a true pioneer. When we did the Black Excellence on the Wrestling Realms, we did an episode of Black Excellence in wrestling in 2021. That was one of the things we talked about, was how the women have been pioneers. We just haven't been giving them the credit. We hadn't give Jazz the credit for going to WrestleMania and going in as champion and leaving as champion, because we always thinking, well, The Rock didn't do it, or Booker T didn't do it, but we didn't give Jazz the credit. Women have been breaking barriers. And that was one of the things we mentioned on that episode. We mentioned that Those Wrestling Girls was highlighting women of color doing these things. So it was, it's an incredible episode. I definitely encourage everybody to go check it out on their YouTube channel. It's very easy to find. It's so easy to find. I promise you that.
And it's worth the content, because you learn something new where it's like, I don't know about this wrestler or that wrestler. Boom, you pull up Those Wrestling Girls on YouTube, and it's like, oh shit, I never knew about this person, or I didn't know this Hall of Famer went through that, or this. It's just like, you learn something new every day.
And share it with your friends. That's how we do. Word of mouth. Share it with your friends. Tweet on Twitter. That's how I got engaged in back and forth with Those Wrestling Girls, just because I found the show one day and then I started tweeting about it. So yeah, do that. It's good stuff. Now y'all can't get our spots.
Watch parties.
Y'all can't get
those watch parties.
That's classic. I'm mad because I could never get to one of them, but I would see, hear about it.
And when I have more time, definitely going to try to do more of the watch alongs. But what was exciting about this weekend was reaching 10K is so many new people that came to our platform.
Salute to y'all, because Elon, I got beef with you right now.
Yeah, everybody got beef.
How the fuck got 100 followers in like 5 days out of nowhere?
It really fluctuates. But I loved having like all the new people to the platform, because when you're in it, you don't remember like you forget why you do it or what like the core value of what you do. And it really is, we spotlight women in wrestling as well as give a platform to women like me and Seindole, and we uplift everyone, including wrestlers, referees, all that kind of stuff. And now, it's Black History Month, so we're actually going to be spotlighting more Black women this month in wrestling, also on Fan Club. But before we get into that, I want to close out our Rumble talk with probably one of the biggest moments of I don't even know if I can express the magnitude of
Did you bring the handcuffs?
Oh, I hope Roman brought them. He's on his way.
You're nasty. Stop it.
Hey.
Keep a PG this show, damn it.
What Cheech and Chong do is
really quick. I really want to hear what you guys have to say, but I do want to share me and Brian's experience with this moment really quick.
Please do.
Right
That's
after
what I want to hear the most.
Roman Reigns was pinned, we had to actually hurry back to the press box to head to the press conference. But as you all know, that it didn't end there. So everyone in the press conference, as we're waiting for it to start, is watching the show on their phone.
You missed the post-match shit live?
Listen.
Shut up. Watching on our phones, but because lags and people have different devices and stuff, so you just hear this collective like every 30 seconds. But like me, because Brian's phone was slow, we didn't know what they were gasping at. So we're just like, oh my god. So you just hear everybody like so that was our experience. So we were not on the floor anymore when that happened. So I have to know how it was for you guys watching on TV. If it
you could hear the crowd gasp though. That's how loud it was.
So I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go first because mind you, I'm in a bar with a bunch of very satisfied Black people that, first of all, Roman didn't lose, and secondly, just the fact that Kevin Owens. The match was hard at the end because of how the ending looked. So everybody was like, this is going to be a wash. So people didn't even leave to go home yet. And you can kind of see that they were going to continue the beating on. I knew it was going to end there. Mm-hmm. And then when we saw him pull Sammy close to watch Kevin get beat up, I'm like, the way, and this is like a telenovela coming to life. The way that you can see Sammy's facial expressions change, like, this is not right. It's not sitting well with me. This is not okay. It's hard for me to watch. And then you watch Roman put up them handcuffs and he put it onto the ring. And then when Sammy cut in to stop him, that set the bar off. People were just like shocked. And then when he saw him hand the chair, a couple people going like, he going to turn on Kevin, blah, blah. But then when you saw and I'm telling you, this is how light imitates art and brings it back around to make more copies. When you saw Roman get hit with that chair, get hit with that chair, the gas in that bar, you heard people were cheering, holy shit. First of all, then you saw Roman's face. You could see him, man, had pure PTSD because he's been here before. Then when you saw Jay go, what are you doing? You my brother. And you saw Jimmy kick him. And then shout out to the people we were sitting with. It was Faith. Faith was like, wait, where's Jay? And you saw Jay huddled up in the corner just looking devastated. I was like, he's not going to help them. He about to turn on the bloodline. And he rolled out the ring. I said, oh, the whole bar, shocked, appalled. Like, Days of Our Lives could never. All My Children could never. Young and the Restless, just to me and you. Young and the Restless could never. They might as well have stole the writer
Hospital,
who did
Sábado Gigante.
Somebody working for General Hospital, Young and the Restless, had to have finished that storyline with him because the way it played out. And then how they did this really dirty. They didn't give us a recap on Raw. Like the Tribal Chief has not spoken yet. Like this, you could have finalized this chapter in a better way. All you needed was a soundtrack. all you needed was like a soft soundtrack from some of the greatest R&B or some of the greatest soft rock artists there, or you could have just needed like somebody crying, like somebody's mama should have been crying in the crowd. That's the only way it would have been other than her. But other than that, the way this played out, pure poetry, best form of storytelling. I don't care. People were bitching online. Let me tell you something. You marks, y'all wouldn't know a masterpiece if it hit you in the head instead of worth $1 million, because this was beautiful.
So here's the thing real quick. P talked about our experience in the press box, right? And the presser room. And I'm gonna elaborate on that. The thing that I love about being in wrestling press versus something else, like I've done sports, and in sports, you're not supposed to cheer in a press room, right? And you know, like, so if Justin went and covered the Giants in the Super Bowl, imagine him having to contain all that emotion.
Yeah, that's not happening, but
continue. In the wrestling, you heard everybody go, "Oh, you know," like she said earlier, that collective sigh, because like you knew it was coming. And I'm one who, I've been loud about this. I don't want the bloodline to break up. I didn't want Sammy to turn on him. And you see that Fox is probably, because to Seindole's point, she was like, the tribal chief been quiet. Fox said, y'all not letting USA get that one. We want those ratings, because everybody gonna be tuning in, because this is one of those stories. Remember, Royal Rumble's a show that the casual fans watch. People come back and watch Royal Rumble through WrestleMania, and then they don't watch again. But this story right here, I know there's been a lot of talk of it being better than The Undertaker and Kane, the Mega Powers explosion. You know, Austin and McMahon was a rivalry. Austin Rock was a rivalry, but you had those stories, the ones I mentioned earlier, that hooked you in. Roman and Jay started this in 2020, and we've been getting emotional ever since. You know, you look at
oh yes,
you know, and then with then Jimmy coming in and like, you know, I ain't nobody's bitch t-shirt. And
the way this is played out, man.
And then, you know, bringing Solo in, and you like, okay, how is he gonna act? And what did Roman say? Solo, the elder sent you, but you need to acknowledge me. And then Solo falls in line. Like, this been so good, this whole story.
But also, you're right, Brian. I have to say too, like, how over Sammy is, because he them and the crowd started yelling "fuck you, Roman."
Yo,
like, that says so much about.
There's only been one time the crowd did that, and that was at the WrestleMania 33 when Roman beat Undertaker, and that Orlando crowd was letting Roman have it for 3 minutes before he said, "This is my yard now."
Yeah, that was the next night on Raw.
And then the interesting thing in this is that I've been saying this a lot, and shout out to Banks, because me and him talk about like Roman's top, and then I talked to another person that they were saying that Roman in this, with Sammy coming in, Roman's been too soft. He's been playing around. He's entertained by the gesture in his court, right? So, because he's entertained by the gesture. So with him being entertained by the gesture, you have to ask, like, is this somebody that belongs really in the court? The only way we've really been able to test Sammy's loyalty up to now is with Kevin Owens. No one stupid doesn't know the history between him and Kevin Owens. Right. For it to take Kevin Owens to be the deciding factor of, okay, I need to see where your head at. I need to see where your loyalties lie. And that's when I knew Roman was done playing, when he said, "You're not guilty for now." So when I watched him with no hesitation and then people were like, "Fuck you, Roman." This man broke his necklace, the flower necklace that's supposed to be for him, and laid flowers on him like it was a funeral to die, because this is dead. You're dead to me now. You've proved that you don't deserve to be a part of the bloodline. You don't deserve the honorary name. When he said to Solo, "This is war now."
Yep.
All bets are off. I'm telling.
Now that's the
I'm sorry.
If I had if you told me I had to complain about something, it would have been that the microphones wasn't loud enough in the ring. Because I kept trying to go back and watch what him and Jay was saying, and because main event Jay Uso is the way he's been able to establish himself. And I know when I was sitting there, I was like, man, you felt for him.
And even Jimmy was like, you so that's your brother? You my brother? He not blood? I was like, yo, what is happening? It was just
top tier acting.
Yo.
And it's
Susan Lucci could never.
He said,
sorry.
They need to submit this for all the Emmy Awards and
for your consideration.
Anything in Hollywood, because this just goes to show you that Roman Reigns, the combination of the Anoa'i family and Paul Heyman, that's been a history, that's had so much history, and that's the thing we learned when Roman came together with Heyman back in 2020.
Right.
I remember when this happened, I was like, oh, I'm excited about this. Because now I'm going to actually probably cheer Roman, and sure enough, and they've been knocking everything out of the park.
I have a question, because we've had those years where it's with Raw's dull and boring, everybody's complaining, but we've been able to stay captivated by this Bloodline storyline for 2+ years now. If without the Bloodline story, what would be the thing to keep us tuning in every week? It's kind of crazy to think about.
Nothing. SmackDown would be fair. SmackDown SmackDown has been a C+ show. It's now back to a high B+ right now because of that storyline, in my opinion.
So here's the thing. I love that question, because it's making me go back into why I watch wrestling, right? And I'm thinking back to, there was a lot of time period where I called a forgettable period of wrestling. I was watching, but then this is from 05 to probably about 2011. I'm watching because I watch wrestling, but there was no story that made me say, yes, I'm hooked, right? So we would probably be watching just because we love wrestling and we would find something to talk about, but it would just be a revolving door where, think about this. I'm gonna ask you this question, P. If you wasn't captivated by Stone Cold, Vince McMahon, The Rock, what would have kept you watching? Or would you have been just watching out of habit?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I think. That's the answer to your question.
Yeah.
But I see what you mean.
Your hiatus last spring, summer, spring, you were still Bloodline, but then again, Sammy hadn't Sammy yet.
He wasn't Uzi yet.
Yeah, he was flourished into an honorary use.
He was just a backstage proponent. Remember, he even said this. He told Ariel Helwani he wasn't on camera with Roman because Sammy was calling himself the locker room leader, but Roman's the tribal chief. But it wasn't until Triple H took over that they was on camera together, and then boom, it took off.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, it's where would the show, where WWE be without the Bloodline, all that stuff? It would be a lot more women centric, because think back to 2020. You had Sasha Banks and you had Bayley that was on a historical SmackDown Women's Championship reign. Yeah, Sasha Banks that dethroned her at Hell in a Cell to finally complete that loop of the golden role models, but also Sasha finally being Grand Slam champ. You had Sasha and Bianca at WrestleMania 37. You had Sasha passing the torch to Bianca Belair. Now Bianca Belair is your SmackDown Women's Champion. Yeah, Becky Lynch coming back 26 seconds at SummerSlam, and you had the chase going for that title. And then remember, you had the draft where they flip-flopped everything to where now we're going to switch Becky and Charlotte over to where now Charlotte's on SmackDown, Becky's on Raw. And by proxy, we're going to move Bianca over there. So you would have had Charlotte and Sasha, but then Sasha gets injured. You have Ronda that comes back. So now you have Charlotte and Ronda. Ronda takes your title. Charlotte takes the leave of absence. The whole thing with Sasha and Naomi happened. we build up Liv Morgan. So now you have Liv Morgan. And the reason why I'm now pinning it to just SmackDown, because that's where the bloodline is. That's where the bloodline has been for the longest time, is Roman's been on SmackDown. The only time Roman started crossing over was when they wanted to do Brock Lesnar unify the titles at WrestleMania shit. And the same with the tag team titles. With now that I got this unified, Usos, why aren't you going for the Raw tag team titles still? So Bloodline has been all SmackDown. So we've been a lot more women centric if you take away the Bloodline. But at the same time, to go back to Rumble to get my thoughts real quick, because I know I talked about this on Turnbuckle Talk on Monday. This is really the Jey Uso story. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are just a cog in the story of the Bloodline, but it really goes back to Roman and Jey in 2020. When Roman comes back, when Roman dethrones The Fiend for the title, gets The Fiend and Braun Strowman all the way the fuck out of here, establishes wreck everyone and leave, fall in line, the Bloodline, Jey Uso, get in line or else, and leads to that Hell in a Cell match where Roman beats the living fuck out of Jey, to where Jimmy comes back a little earlier from that torn ACL to be like, yo, leave my brother alone. And he's like, no, I'm gonna beat your brother's ass to get in the fall in line. I will beat your ass to get in the fall in line. And I'm gonna have Alpha and Sika and everyone throw the lay on me because I am the fucking one.
Yep.
So this entire story has been.
You can't even talk about the Sammy storyline without talking about Jey Uso. Like he's very much 100% a part of that. Yeah. So it all leads to that.
And Sammy is a cog that got super over. That Usi shit got over quick. The honorary Us got over quick. But it's all a cog into the Jey story. But then to bring it to Rumble, and shout out to Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens, we're not talking about this enough. That was a banger of a match. That steel steps on the outside spot that they did twice, to where Roman threw Kevin head first into the steel steps twice in front of Sami Zayn. That was just like, I don't know how you protect your neck, because Lily, I'm thinking concussion and CTE right on the spot, let alone neck injuries because of what Big E's going through. So for Kevin Owens to take that ass whooping during the match, and then we're going to go post-match, and then, we're going to bring out the handcuffs, and you're about to get the ass whooping of a lifetime. And I'm going to force Sammy, your best friend, to sit there and watch, because now Roman's there like, yeah, you can't do shit. You're going to sit here and watch your boy get beat down. And then I'm going to jump in. Oh, you want to intervene? Okay, fine. You beat him down. Here's the chair. And everyone's egging this on.
I want to bring on.
Sammy hits him with the chair. I swear that was one of the loudest pops I've ever heard off TV, because my jaw was on the floor. I was on the floor like Roman, because like you could hear it from the TV, like it was deafening, like, oh, it's just like, because we knew it was going to happen.
The one last thing I want to say on this, right? I have to think that the reason why you saw Jey finally turn on everybody, and somebody on Twitter brought this up, and I'm going to just abbreviate it, right? You have to look at how Jey was forced to fall in line. And people were like, the fact that he's going back and forth with Sami Zayn has been so interesting, is because you're literally letting somebody who's not even blood just waltz up in here and say, I'm an honorary, I'm a oos, I can get down. No, bro, you didn't get the same treatment into being a part of the bloodline that our own flesh and flesh put us through. You ain't been there yet. You haven't been tested. Jey got tested first. Man literally had his ass whooped. Jimmy was like, yo, left my brother. And like Justin said, you shut up and I'm going to whoop your ass if you don't get in line. Same thing happened then. They both had to literally scrape the bottom of their own family's barrel to get a seat at the table with their own family. You got Solo, who I like to say, because he's tough, got the mercy end of it all. Like, we know we sent you here to be by yourself and you with your brothers, but because you with your brothers, now you got to be here with us. And you just going to let somebody with red hair and a fucking long ass beard and an honorary shirt just walk in like it's nothing? Hell no. And that's why Jey's been so reluctant. And like I said, it's just literally, to me, in my mind, the gesture, being able to play in the court with the king, laughing and giggling and being entertained until it's time for you to do some business with the court. This is your test. You failed. You showed that you failed. Jay wanted it to be that easy so bad. And then on top of that, it was growing on him that the gesture was there to make everything fun, because up until then it's been so serious. But then you kind of see, like, if this is what you've become, Roman, why did this is what you put me through. It's deja vu. Why do I need to be a part of this? I never wanted to be a part of this. I was forced to be a part of this. You're not going to force me to be a part of it no more. I'm out.
And it's PTSD because of what Jay went through, but it's also
exactly.
Like Jimmy never caught these ass whoopings that I had to go through week in and week out for months. Solo never caught this ass whoopings that I had to go through week in and week out that I had to go through. Heyman never had to go through any of these ass whoopings I had to go through week in and week out. And Sammy never had to go through these ass whoopings until now. So now when he's watching Sammy get the fuck beat out of him, Jay's getting PTSD because, like, I'm thinking back to SmackDown where you just beating the fuck out of me because I didn't beat Cesaro, or because I didn't beat this person in the match,
because you saw me as weak,
or because I didn't hit this person with a chair on 1 week on Raw, and now all of a sudden you're choking me out because I'm not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So it's PTSD of, like, is a 2.5 year story of all this ass whoopings and stuff like that Jay's done. But then they've incorporated Sammy, they've incorporated Heyman, they've incorporated Solo to where it's always refreshed. When you think you have a handle on where the story is going, they change the fucking equation. They change the questions up, and it's like, let's reshift the whole board. And it's like, because I knew this, everyone knew this ass was coming. We didn't know it was going to happen at Rumble. We didn't know this was going to be the final test of, you got to sit here and watch your boy get beat down. And your boy that for a decade plus. And you got to sit there, not only take it, but join in. But then you getting your ass whooped for not doing it triggers this one for all the shit he went through for 2.5 years. And now he walks out, and then it goes back to the Jimmy shit. And this is where WWE is so good, because it's like, it makes you watch it over and over again. Because I didn't catch the Jimmy shit. You saying he's your brother, I'm your brother. I missed that first viewing. The Roman and Solo interaction. Yo, we're at war now.
The Sammy video, that whole video, literally 20 million plus views across the WWE platform. 20 million to date. And counting.
That is insane.
Counting. This is because on my appointment viewing to go rewatch this entire match and that shit again. Like,
storyline is not going to end anytime soon because of the levels to it, and the fact that, again, you know, Roman is still considered the villain in the situation, which it really, you know, it just says so much about just the density of that, of everything that's happening, the emotion. Shout out to Paul Heyman. It really is deep. One thing I do want to talk about, as far as like the bloodline, is, should any more people join? And a lot of people, of course, we have to talk about this photo. We got to talk about Nia Jax coming back. We didn't mention that earlier. So that was a shock to me. I did not see her coming back to WWE. She looked fucking amazing. I loved her hair. I loved her makeup, her hair. She looked confident. I loved everything about it. They did botch her fucking entrance, though.
They did. Because they spoiled it for everybody. Because when I saw the indestructible force thing on the ring, I was like, no fucking way they brought her back. They didn't even get a chance to do the countdown.
Yeah, that was that was a buzzkill, but it was like, wait a minute, you getting excited? But it's like, no, she deserved
like the whole thing, like the and her music hit, but it was still exciting because I didn't see that. That wasn't on my bingo card. And I do feel like, you know, Nia Jax is very controversial, very polarizing. But like I always say, if you're not polarizing in wrestling, what the fuck are you doing? And she's back, and I feel like she can possibly team back up with Tamina. And, you know, there's a lot of possibilities there. So I'm happy to have her back. How about you guys?
I was happy to see her. I was happy to see that they finally dropped that fucking stupid Dewdrop name. Even though the commentary team thought they were slick, you guys didn't hear it in commentary probably till you watch, but they were like, oh, you could like, I do. I said, I was like, shut the fuck up. Her name is Piper freaking Neville. Stop. I was happy to see they gave her name back with respect. Thank you, Triple H and them. I was happy. Like Chelsea Green, to me, is the most hilarious thing. I can't wait to see what they do with her. Hopefully, they do her right.
I'm not a Karen.
Because the way she walks to the ring with all that swag and she's slipping, and Rhea was like, "Up, no, you wasted my time. Get out."
Yeah. So one thing, Chelsea Green's another
elimination too.
Polarizing too, and I don't know if a lot of people want her to return or like how a lot of people feel about her, but I was excited to see her back, and there were rumors that her gimmick, I guess, was going to be like a Karen type character. So I guess her getting eliminated quickly, she made history doing that. And my thing too is you're going to return, make a splash. Chelsea Green didn't make a splash in WWE. She never really got the chance to. She more went out. She more was like a name beforehand and then went out, and everything that her and Matt Cardona have done in the last year, salute, because they really like went on the indies and fucking killed it. So she made an impression. So I am interested to see how she turns this. She's on Raw. You know, so like how are they gonna pencil you in? I think she has the ability to do great character work. So I'm personally excited about her coming back. I'm excited about Piper coming back.
But apparently Piper was going through some things behind the scenes, right? Before she came back.
Was it visa issues or was it more than that?
It might have been visa issues, but then she was also in talks even before that to Triple H. Because she didn't like her name. Like she was very vocal about her name change. And then like it was her and I know Nikki Cross. They were already hands up. They were like, no, you're going back to just being Nikki Cross. Like we're dumping this superhero. And first of all, and shout out to her because homegirl ran from one side of the ring. So I said, finally, you get the point, bitch. Ain't nobody slow walking to this ring. She said
the Alamodome is not a small venue, so
it's
for
not.
her to do a 100-yard dash, full sprint to the fucking ring, and not be blown up when she got to the ring, yo, salute to whatever your cardio game is. We need the damn recipes because, bruh.
That reminds me too, Justin, of one thing about being there live that did take away from the experiences where me and Brian were. You couldn't, the way they set it up, you could, if you were on a certain side, you couldn't see the ramp at all. Like you could not see the person until they got into the ring. So
it looked like it was set up like SummerSlam in Vegas, where it's like that weird curving ramp, but then like if you're on a specific side of the arena, you don't see it until they get to the ring.
Didn't see anything until they like actually got in.
Once they got around the bend, because it was a bend, and once they got around, that's where you could see it. But it wasn't like it was a spotlight. Like if this was the 80s,
they didn't show it on the screen, so like we literally did not see you until you. So I normally don't watch the pay-per-views right after, but I watched it the next day because I was like, I need to see. That's what I love most is like the entrances and all that for Rumble. So I did have to see that. So
this was definitely a one to rewatch too. Like from the Royal Rumble matches itself, obviously the finish. It was definitely one. It's like, you know what, I got to go back and look at this, you know, just to see how it played out, but also just so many stories in there. Like I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, me being marked for broadcasted, seeing Pat McAfee and seeing Michael Cole and Michael Cole's excitement and Corey Graves' disdain, because you know those two always going back and forth. So that was fun to watch, you know. And then
there's certain things you just miss too, like Zelina Vega when she comes out and you're hearing on commentary and she's dressed like this because of she's about to be in Street Fighter 6. She's going to be commentating, and then they show the graphic for Street Fighter 6. But if you're in the crowd, you don't know who she's dressed at because you know she loves to cosplay for Rumble, and B, the extracurricular stuff that they're feeding off on TV where it's like, yo, salute to Zelina Street Fighter 6, and then but if you're in the ring, you're like, what's this Street Fighter 6 shit that everyone's talking about? Because you're not getting that commentary that's telling you this, and this.
Can I before we go into our Black History Month spotlight, just how mainstream a lot of these WWE superstars, especially the women, have been. Like right now, we've had Bianca and Montez are filming their own reality show for Hulu. You have the Bella Twins shout out to, they had shows, they've been on like competition shows and reality shows, and they have their podcast. On Watch What Happens Live. The Bellas, Nikki has her marriage special on E. Like that's a huge deal.
Yeah. And then Nikki also has a Barmageddon before that, because Barmageddon comes out after Raw. So now that's transitioning into the Nikki Artem wedding stuff.
I love it. I love to see it. A few of them are on Tamron Hall. Big E just posted that he's at Wheel of Fortune. So like
we said, Zelina Vega doing Street Fighter 6.
Right.
I think commentary for Street Fighter 6 on that.
They went to the Australian Open, the New Day.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what Kofi talked about.
All over.
And shout out to Kofi. I'm glad you're doing better, my guy. Because that spot.
Shout out to Kofi. It was hard.
I don't know how it was for y'all in the arena, but we saw that on TV, and I was like, bro, he hit his head against the bottom of the commentary table while the chair is spinning. I was like, I don't know how you don't get injured off that. That looked so brutal and it was so fast.
It was like rough. I got him out of there quickly. But yeah, shout out. I just love seeing wrestling in the mainstream. I love seeing, because they are larger than life superstars, and they have all of the components to be celebrities in other fields, because you have to do so much to be a WWE superstar. So I love seeing them on talk shows and seeing them getting reality shows, and even like my coworkers knowing who these people are just off like their appearances on like these talk shows and stuff. So it's really,
and people talk shit about WWE, like, no, they're not that big. Yo, wrestling, that's fake and shit like that. The AFC Championship game, the Chiefs won. Travis Kelce cuts a promo cutting back to The Rock from like decades ago. Know your roles, shut your mouth.
Wrestling is everywhere.
The Rumble is one of the most watched wrestling events, not WrestleMania, because it brings casuals in, because it's the only time you can actually bet on it. It's the only time you can gamble on it. It's the only time you can pull up to Legends.
Wasn't there a football player that just threw up the DX like crotch thing?
No, so NBA Joel Embiid, and he got fined because during the game he did the DX cross chop. Because
he did the cross chop during the game.
Fan. He's a big wrestling fan, so he did the DX chop. Cross chop during the game, and NBA's like, yeah, that's gonna be 15,000. You're not doing that in front of fans.
With little kids.
And Joel Embiid's like, I don't give a fuck. Let's go. Suck it.
So I have a question before we get into real quick. We know that Charlotte has picked. We know that Charlotte has been picked by Rhea, but that still leaves Bianca Belair without an opponent, and we got one more pay-per-view before WrestleMania. Elimination Chamber. Who do you guys want to see in the match?
Only one.
So salute to Adam Pearce, because Adam Pearce came out on Raw the same night that Rhea picked Charlotte and said, you know what? We're going to clear all this up right here, right now. We're going to have Elimination Chamber coming up in Canada. We're going to put the women in the Elimination Chamber. Because we're going to figure out who's fighting. We're going to figure out who's fighting Bianca Belair for this beautiful Raw Women's Championship. You know what? So since Rhea already made her choice, the other three women who were in the final four, y'all are automatically in this Elimination Chamber.
I like it.
We're going to have matches to figure out who else is going to be in this Elimination Chamber. And the winner of that Elimination Chamber will go on to face Bianca Belair. So that means the final three. So that's Asuka. That's Liv Morgan. That's Raquel Rodriguez.
I'm excited.
Nikki Cross automatically in the chambers.
Nah, I need Nikki Cross in this match.
Raquel better not fucking win.
And we have a fatal four-way coming up to figure out those other spots. That's why Carmella came back, because she's going to be part of that fatal four-way to figure out one of those spots.
Oh my gosh, shout out to Mella being back. Welcome back. Yes. I'm a Carmella fan. I love that it's Money Mella too. And I hope she's in the.
You know what though? Not gonna cap you. First of all, I know how y'all feel about Nikki Cross. We need Nikki Cross in this match. Like, we need a crazy bitch in this match. We need Nick, crazy ass Nick. I need her to sit on top of the cage. I need her to climb the wall in the glass. I need her to breathe her hot air on that Pepsi. I need her. She gonna make this whole thing entertaining. Even though I feel like Asuka's gonna take this whole thing home. I need Nikki Cross in this match. I love that Liv. I hope that Carmella makes it. I hope the only person I could see final spot probably making it to make it interesting, I'm gonna stick my neck out. I don't want to do it. I'll stick my neck out and say they're going to make Nia Jax enter this match.
Oh, that's your wild card.
I think that's the last person.
I have a different wild card. I agree with you. I think Asuka's winning this because what makes more sense than the Showcase of the Mortals in Los Angeles than to have Bianca and this version of Asuka, aka Kana. But remember, they used to be friends. Bianca Asuka used to have Bianca's back while the whole damage control. So there's
you see how that worked with Alexa, right?
Yeah, she went from one crazy to the next.
Yep. Exactly. But I have a different wild card. Instead of Nia, there was a certain major women's wrestler that was not on Royal Rumble at all. And they made sure, because it was in the Twitter sphere and the blogs, that she was not a part of Royal Rumble, but I think will be a part of Elimination Chamber. I think that's
no. Damn it.
I think you get Ronda Rousey in the chamber.
No, she's in the box.
Yeah, she's going to be in the box of one of those 4 boxes because she's not going to be starting the match, but she's going to be in that match. I think Ronda's in that match, but I think Asuka's winning that match.
Here's the thing. Leave.
If I was booking, quote unquote, now this is going to come with a lot of bias, but I would have Mia Yim, and we could get Mia Yim and Bianca at WrestleMania. You know, Mia Yim already posted her photo, but I just don't think she's been back long enough to like really catch fire and build that momentum. But then again, who saw Kofi Mania? You know, sometimes we never know what could happen in these qualifying matches, right? I would have to go back and look, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was AJ Styles who was probably like the odds-on favorite to win the chamber that year and go on to WrestleMania to face Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan. But Kofi caught momentum in those qualifying matches. So I think that it could be Asuka pencil, but you never know what could happen. And that's the beauty of wrestling.
And we have more than just Kofi Mania. If you go back to WrestleMania 33 season, that's how Bray won the title, and we ended up going to Bray and Randy for WrestleMania because Bray won that title at Elimination Chamber. You go a little further back. That's how. I mean, not a little further back. Let's speed up to last year. That's how Brock got the title and ended up being title for title with Roman. We've seen these audibles. WrestleMania 17. If I'm not mistaken, Stone Cold wins the Rumble, but Kurt Angle loses that title to The Rock at the next pay-per-view, and that's how we get Stone Cold Rock for WrestleMania 17. So we've seen where WWE will audible in a matter of weeks. We were going to get Charlotte and Ronda at WrestleMania 35. Becky Lynch gets white hot. She wins the Rumble. So now we get Becky Ronda, but we got to answer Charlotte because we know the company's already wanted their match.
It was promised to.
But the point is this. We've seen how quickly they can audible into certain matches and audible out of certain matches during WrestleMania season. And that's where Elimination Chamber is still unpredictable because you never know. It took what?
We're on the road to WrestleMania.
It took Elimination Chamber for Asuka to finally pick Charlotte for 34. And I think close to that same time for Bianca to finally pick Sasha for 37. A lot happens in just a short amount of time on this road to WrestleMania. So eyes up, because
but yeah, it's a lot to look forward to. It's a very exciting time. It's to think we have Elimination Chamber right after this in Montreal. Like it's definitely like rolling really fast. I'm very excited about it. But I do want to go into something that we're going to be doing to celebrate Black History Month on TWG Fan Club. Is every week one of us is going to spotlight an indie wrestler that we think deserve some spotlight, that's really been doing it. And we want to celebrate them. So we're gonna this week we're gonna do Seindole's pick. Who are you spotlighting this week for Black History Month?
I am so excited to actually spotlight this young lady. I've been a fan of her now. I'm really digging into her this year. You can put that graphic right back up because I'm going to give it up for my sisters from the motherland. And this sister specializes in 4 languages. Not only that, she specializes in strong style, female style. I'm talking about Miss Queen Nita. That's how you say it. Her career highlight right now, she's the GCW Women's Champion. She ranked number 100 on the women's PWI in 2021. This young lady, she's impressed me. She's gone toe to toe with all your favorites. She's gone toe to toe with Roxanne. She's gone toe to toe with Ashley Vox. She's gone toe to toe with some of these amazing other female talents. Besides, I don't know why they would say besides Queen. That's the only other queen that I realized. Only 3 queens. That's Queen PR, that's Queen Charlotte, and that's Queen Martina. But with this, I want to highlight her because for sisters to go in and say, I'm not just going to learn one craft, I'm going to learn more than one. Her matches, literally with some of these Japanese style female wrestlers, are the most entertaining to watch. She doesn't cut a lot of promos, but for her to stay into character, for me, it's hard. A lot of people are ignorant when it comes to having that queen status character, and she's an African queen nonetheless. A lot of people are very ignorant with that type of gimmick, but she holds it high. She holds it true. Her gear is always fierce, child. That cape. It gives me a measure of coming to America. Like, come on, I'm sorry, but Booker T could never with this queen getup. So I want people to pay attention to her a lot more. She's been wrestling a lot more dates with women's army I don't want to say this wrong. I always say it wrong. Maria Canales' promotion. She's been doing a lot of matches with them. But check her out. Go on YouTube. You need to keep your eye out on her. I feel like if AEW or WWE don't pick her up, they'll be highly mistaken. She's somebody that needs to be on TV in your face ASAP. And that's the ruling that I'm making in my court. So y'all tell me what you think.
Ooh, I like that.
I had the pleasure of seeing her wrestle a couple times, and she's really, really good. She commands the room. She commands respect from the crowd. And I don't think I've ever, it's like she was one of the first that I've seen that was just like a star on the indies where everyone knew who she was, where people saw her on the card and was like, I'm going to go, because I'm still new to the indies as well. So seeing that she already had that connection with so many different people, and seeing that she's doing Women's Wrestling Army and she's out there, she's getting acknowledged. Yeah, I love that we're giving her some flowers today, because she's phenomenal.
Her matches with Trish Adora are just like my favorite. My favorite. Yes, they're so good.
They're good. And the thing is about her is the character work.
Yes.
And to be able to see her like put, like you said, just watching her character is so much fun. I got a chance to see her backstage at MCW's Ladies Night, and the professionalism. And it's sad that we have to highlight the fact that Black women are professional, because people will always try to, but I want to make sure like that's understood to the promoters out here that's watching this show, that's looking for talent, because the professionalism that she has and the camaraderie.
And she's so nice. She's so nice.
And that's what I mean, when it comes to with her colleagues, and having the respect of the locker room, that's huge. So shout out to her. I'm excited to see where her career goes. I'm tired of watching her on AEW Dark and Dark Elevation.
They need to do about
it. Right, I'm tired of watching them lose to women that they're 10 times better than. It's very sickening. Like, they shouldn't be losing to people like Tay Conti
Mind you. She I actually went to this was out in Pennsylvania. She wrestled Sky Blue. And when I tell you, if that match that she had with Sky Blue had happened on had happened in Elevation, they would have been a riot as to why you can't sign her. And it makes no sense. That match was one of the best match. Like her and Sky Blue put on like such good chemistry matches. Thank you, Nikki. Such great chemistry matches. And then you put her on Elevation when people like freaking Ty Conti. Why? I don't get it. But again, there's somebody that I hope enough people watch the way that people were rooting for Willow. I'm praying that people are rooting for her the exact same way. Yeah. And I'm going to keep rooting for her the exact same way.
You're muted.
You're muted, baby.
Press your mic.
Uncle Howdy, don't tuck your mic.
Not you, Uncle Howdy, in your house, P.
You lucky. I don't want to kick nobody out the club today.
I didn't say nothing about Chad. Leave me alone.
You're on a 3-streak roll. Don't get kicked out of the club this week. Stop.
But all I was saying is I love everything that she's doing. Shout out to Nikki, who is giving us all of the facts about her. And she is one of the sweetest people in the industry. Me and KRISTA have met her a couple times. And she is very much in control of her career. I do want to see her do more. Like you said, Brian, I think her losing to these people on Dark is such a waste.
Especially freaking
such a waste.
Fucking Conti. God.
Then again, as someone like me who is learning the indies, this is on my vision board for this year to like go to more indie shows and actually learn the indies, because I've never done it before. I've never get to see people grind their way to the top. I'm just used to the top and that's it. So for me, you're educating me on like, this is why this person is here where they're at, and this is why you need to put your eyes on them and follow them. It's like, so now this is how you win someone like me over that's used to the big boys and shit like that, to where like, no, this is why you gotta come to the indies, Jay, because you're missing all this great shit right here, and you're not used to this. So let me school you. And Seindole right here, I knew of her, but now I want to know more about her. And this is
you're gonna love it. Is the deep dive that I went through when I first started hearing her. When I heard, first of all, Prince Nana actually endorsed her. And like when I was like, who is this and why have I not seen her? And I started deep diving into all her matches. Yo, Roxanne had one of her last matches in 2021 when they had like one of the last her matches before getting signed. And that match was really good. And you could just see that the two of them were like, oh, you see me, I see you, we see each other. Let's get it on. It was really worth watching. So all her matches worth following. You can YouTube it, Google it, and then Nikki put a nail in the coffin. You got to go to a battle slam show. That's on my bucket list of indie shows to go to. I need to go to a battle slam show because I heard those shows and her wrestling are like top tier. This and Battle Club Pro are probably the only two type of promotions that I would definitely go to.
I was gonna say, so for us that are not familiar with Battle Slam, where can I find it? Is that like local, or is that like a centralized, or is that traveling? Like, you know how Battle Club Pro, I gotta come to New York to go watch this. But for Battle Slam, where can I find this? Because
it's in Atlanta, is it? Outside of Atlanta. I think it's Nikki. I think it's either Nikki can confirm.
Nikki, drop it in the chat. Yeah, Nikki.
She knows she did. It's in Atlanta.
Oh, I've never been to Atlanta, so
you know what? For good wrestling, I will drive to this because right now I'm still considering that NXT show in Charlotte.
I'm fine. That's Sunday. Saturday.
Yeah, that's the.
I thought it was like.
I thought so too.
But this is the first time they're going outside of their whole CWC shit since WrestleMania.
Well, they be in LA.
This is takeover before takeover. Yeah. Like for them. No, this is before LA. They haven't done this since WrestleMania.
She's saying will they though? That's what she's saying, will they? But yeah.
They do a show once a month, next show February.
I'll fly.
I may have to block that off.
I ain't driving. That's too long of a drive. No.
How far is Atlanta from Maryland?
How long is it from Baltimore? About 12 hours.
I will Google right now.
No. Wait, yeah, because Alabama, it's probably about 10. I'm sorry, 10, because South Carolina's 8. So it's about 10 or 11 hours. No, sir.
Yeah. I feel you. But I'm excited to really have people discover more indie talent every month. The spotlight.
Brian's
just like
on it. Driving 10.5 hours.
Oh God. No, thank you.
If you want to watch it, Justin, Battle Slam's on Fight TV. If you have Fight TV.
Ooh, I do have Fight TV.
Yeah, so
you
watch
got Fight TV?
Yo, should I log in the chat?
Right. I got a WTV, you know.
Shit, I said too much.
You definitely did, bitch. You got to hand me that.
We're working on an exchange program. We're working on an exchange. I got independent
This is about to be
TV.
like Wrestle Kingdom all over again. It's like, wait, Jay's got a New Japan World? Logins. Like, I said too much.
We friends. We're supposed to share shit.
I never miss Wrestle Kingdom. I'm like 7 years in. I don't miss Wrestle Kingdom. Oh, so that means you have New Japan World. Log in, please. It's like, I said too much.
I got you on pizza and drinks. Then
Dylan, Dylan, if you're in the chat, clip this. I said too much. I want that.
Yeah. Has to be it.
He'll catch the replay if he's not. I know he was celebrating his parents' wedding anniversary. Shout out
today.
Shout out to
Dylan.
Shout out to Dylan. Speedy recovery,
all the way out
guy.
in New Zealand.
Praying for that knee, man. Speedy recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but this was a pretty good fan club. We got a lot in. It was I knew it was going to be a jam-packed show because of everything that was going on. But I think it was great. Those that have joined fan club for the first time, this is a weekly wrestling fan club with me, Queen PR, and the crew, where we chat everything that's going on in wrestling at the moment. We're going to spotlight an indie wrestler every week to celebrate Black History Month because we need to celebrate Black excellence in wrestling. Mm-hmm. We also are going to chat some of our past episodes that I recorded with Krista B covering women of color. So make sure you check out that playlist on YouTube, including that.
If you look at my wall behind me, a lot of Sasha, some Bianca. Just saying. And speaking of Sasha, don't you guys have a special spotlight on Sasha on those Wrestling Girls channel?
We do. We have a 3-part Sasha Banks series, actually, which we recorded just in time because then she ended up going to Japan, so it was perfect.
And speaking of Sasha, it's for timing because in 2 weeks she has her match with Kairi Sane in San Jose at Battle of the Valley for the IWGP Women's Championship belt. So good time. If you're not familiar with Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks, good time to refresh before that match. Money.
Also, speaking of money, I have to always say that she was the only match announced and almost sold out the show against Kairi Sane.
Oh, no, they sold it out. They sold out the venue. They sold it out.
Just the one match.
They sold out one match. Yeah, the one match.
Yeah. Oh yes, Becky Lynch and Bayley are gonna have their steel cage match next week.
Orlando, I am jealous that y'all are getting this match.
First of all, they're supposed to have it at Raw 30, but whatever.
It's gonna get time because it's been hyped up, and now that they've had 2 weeks to add to it because of Rumble and of Raw, now it's more established. And you see Bayley's taking it personal, where it's like, "Yo, I see your man. Your man should have been mine, but what happened was you got pregnant by said man, and then he decided to do the right thing and marry you." So, I mean,
for her to post up the pictures of her side ponytail ass and Seth, you bitch, I want all the smoke. Meet me outside, like Bianca said, with all the cousins on Twitter.
Bayley was like, Becky, you can do all that CrossFit all you want. You ain't got to ass like this.
Ooh,
she said the hips don't lie.
The hips don't lie, and none of the
So because we didn't touch on that Becky and Bayley promo or their feud too much on this show, I would like Seindole to grade their steel cage match. And we'll get more into that because I do think we need to give that a little bit more time on the show next week. Becky and Bayley feuding 2-4 Horsewomen, and it has a different tone. I think their promo, Bayley.
And shout out to WWE. We've been begging since I came back to wrestling. I've been begging for this. I know other fans have. Secondary storylines for the women outside of title pictures. We have it right here.
It would be an honor.
Involved. It's just two bad bitches that want to beat each other up. for the fuck of it, and now we're just gonna throw History of Seth and maybe in the middle of it. But two bad bitches are gonna beat each other up.
It would be an
and
honor
it's
and a privilege.
And it's full circle because it's in Orlando. So we're gonna take it back to the roots of NXT and the Four Horsewomen and how they became.
I will definitely be great in that match. Definitely.
Yeah, so usually Seindole scoreboard is for pay-per-view, PLE matches. But I do feel like this is going to be a historic match. It is a part of a dynamic feud. And I want to get more into it. So we'll definitely be covering that next week for TWG Fan Club every Wednesday live with the crew, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Twitch. I actually will start posting the playbacks of these episodes on YouTube. So if you don't catch us on Twitch every week, you can go and watch these on YouTube. I just posted the Collision episode that we did in conjunction with KRISTA B Sounds Off. So go check that out on YouTube as well. I want to thank everyone that joined us in the chat. Karsha, Day One, Nikki. Shout out to Women's Wrestling Talk. They posted a today of Black wrestlers and Black women wrestlers, of course, and Black women in wrestling and personalities. And me and KRISTA were honored to be a part of it, along with like Janelle from HR and Jobber Tears, and like so many women are killing it. Candace Cordelia.
And speaking of Janelle from HR, shout out to our one and only Seindole, aka Tia and Tamara, for her mashup with Janelle from HR and Queen Mimi from Black Wrestling. Good. Y'all did an amazing job on that Royal Rumble Big Four right there. So if you haven't seen it,
more to come.
If you haven't seen it, go pull up. I believe is on the Jobber Tears channel.
It is on the Jobber Tears channel on YouTube. Yes, and we will continue. I definitely want to thank them ladies for having me on there. It was a good time. Loved it in person. Just shout out to everybody who tuned in live. Shout out to you guys, those wrestling girls, and everybody who's in the chat just interacting. And there will be more. Janelle plans on bringing this back full throttle, and I like to be along for the ride.
I love that for her. I love that for Jobber Tears. Thank you for pulling this up. So this is the Instagram post I'm Wrestling Talk posted, and what I love also, there are so many familiar faces on there that I can say are friends of mine. Shout out to Kat, who's been doing so many amazing things with her panels.
So
Jenna,
many great women. I see Jenna, I see Mimi, I see Lovely. Shout out to Mimi with Talk. Shout out to Lovely with Something Else Pod.
And the other exciting thing too is there's a lot of people that I discovered that I followed. That's on this.
Stephanie Hardy, I see on here. There's so many great women.
So many great women, and just shouting out TK, who is the mastermind behind all of it, who is probably the hardest working person in all of this. She does so much for Women's Wrestling Talk in addition to other businesses and her shoot job, and she is a queen and she does all of it, and she's just amazing. She's able to lead a team of a lot of people, and that is not easy. And it really, Nikki's right, it takes a village, including Nikki. They do after shows, they do fashion recaps, they do it all, and I'm so proud to be able to work with them when I am able to work with them, and they're just killing it over there. So if you want to celebrate Black History Month, we are giving Women's Wrestling Talk their fucking flowers today for sure. But yeah, this was a great time. Just to close out with some other business, Charlotte episode part 2 drops Monday. So subscribe to our YouTube channel to make sure you get alerted of that.
Can we get a little teaser? So that part 1 went from one block to another block. So what is this part 2 going to cover?
So part 2 is going to go from, in 2015, her coming up to the main roster is how we're going to start. And we're going to end when she main events WrestleMania for the very first time with Becky and Ronda. And then part 3 will be 2019 and to the present. And we're very excited to do that because, like we said before, there's a lot of like hidden gems in Charlotte Flair's career because it is so illustrious that we go into. So I can't wait for that. KRISTA B goes live Friday with KRISTA B Sounds Off for CRISPA exclusively on Twitch, Play Black exclusively on Patreon. So make sure you check that out. You got a lot to say. I'm going to share something exclusively. Sorry, KRISTA B, I know you wanted to do it. But we landed another brand partnership deal.
I wonder who.
It's a Black-owned brand. So I'm going to let her actually share the name of it, but stay tuned for that. We have a coupon code for some really amazing pro-Black merch. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, we have so much happening. I want to again thank everyone for helping us reach 10,000 Twitter followers. I want to thank everyone for sharing our YouTube links, everyone that retweets us, everyone that listens to an episode, everyone who everything that you do to engage with our brand.
Everyone that checks out the hashtag TWG fan club, because I see where y'all pulling us up on TikTok and Instagram. Salute to y'all.
Yeah.
And even Twitter.
Salute to you guys. Yep. We love it. We love it. And we're here. We're here. Everyone in the crew has a lot going on and to look forward to. So it's just a very exciting time. And we really appreciate everyone joining us for a TWG fan club, because this was really a weekly wrestling fan club that we just wanted to bring together and chat the current shit in wrestling. And we do that. And you guys join us. What episode is this now, Brian?
13.
13.
Ooh. The Freddy Krueger episode. The Jason episode.
So where can everybody find you guys?
So you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Please follow me on Twitter, because I know Elon and his algorithm is bugging. I lost a lot of followers. Please follow me on Twitter, but Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at It's Justin Rich. You can find me here Wednesday nights from 7 to 9 on Twitch channel for Those Wrestling Girls, for Those Wrestling Girls fan club. Myself and these three beautiful, amazing, Black, strong, beautiful people. And especially in this time of the year, you gotta give them all their flowers. PR her flowers, Seindole her flowers, Brian his flowers. You can find us here Wednesday nights from 7 to 9. You can catch me on Twitter Spaces Tuesday nights, usually around 6:30 for Turnbuckle Talk with Mimi and Corey. We went a day early this time, but at the same time, it was Royal Rumble. We had to talk Bloodline. We had to talk Jey Uso, but Twitter Spaces for Turnbuckle Talk. You can catch me from time to time on True Heel Heat Sports and True Heel Heat Wrestling. Both channels are on YouTube. I know the Giants season is over, about to get to the Super Bowl, but you may catch me on there talking sports, wrestling, and all that other fun stuff. We here, we outside, we active, we on the road to WrestleMania. Let's go.
All right. You can follow me at Brian H. Waters on all social media platforms.
Hollywood
City. Ooh,
y'all think y'all funny.
It's a double. No, it's a double entendre, because you're about to be in Hollywood for this WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is in LA. So it's double entendre. Hollywood City.
That shirt made.
Wait, what you say? What you say?
That's gotta be a shirt.
I can vouch that you were recognized in San Antonio.
Ooh, Hollywood.
So was you.
Was. No, I was not. Not
you what?
Know it. You know it.
Let's see.
That's gotta be a shirt.
Hurry up so we can get off this recording so I can hear the tea, because I want to hear the tea, the shade, all that. I want to hear the coffee.
That's gonna be a shirt.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, let me finish. You can follow me at Brian H. Waters on all social media platforms. Make sure you check out Wednesday Worldwide on Spotify, Apple, and anywhere you get your podcast from. The episode just dropped today. We definitely talked about whether or not The Rock is coming back in a non-wrestling role. And then tonight at 10:30, you can find me on the Wrestling Realm Now podcast right here on Twitch and YouTube. And then, of course, breaking through glass ceilings. Guess what? I haven't revealed the guest, but I'm going to do it right now, because that's what we do in the fan club. We review guests. I am interviewing Miss Shanika Grimshaw of DC News Now, the traffic reporter.
Nice.
So make sure you check out that episode. One of my friends. Yeah, we used to work. Well, she used to be on the Washington football team's media relations squad and fellow NABJ member. So make sure you check out that episode this Friday on Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. And I got a lot of episodes coming up. I'm nearing 100 episodes, but you can also check out my interviews with Queen PR, with KRISTA B, with Seindole, and coming soon with Justin Rich. We're going to schedule that very soon. So make sure you check out those episodes to hear about their career journeys. And that is it.
Brian's not ready for me on Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. I'm just going to say right now, you are not ready.
The world is not ready for you, but it needs you, Justin. I don't know why you keep it humble. Cut it out. Anyway, I'm blessed, but certainly never least. You could find me on Instagram, Twitter. You can find me. All my streams are at the bottom. You can also catch me here with the bestest friends that anybody could ever have here on TWG Fan Club. And since we're dropping special announcement, 2 things. I'm tired of speaking about myself. T and Tamara need to break this February. If I said I'm rooting for everybody Black 365, we're going to start today. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to plug a Black-owned podcast, entertainer, or people who are strictly for the culture. And this first shout out for the TWG season goes out to Strictly for the Culture. Matthew, I love you to death. Thank you for always boosting us. You always boost us here on Fat Club. You're always retweeting people to connect with people. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even have the following I have on Twitter that I have now. So thank you for being a plug. Thank you for all your love, your blessings, and keep standing up for the culture. And guys, on Fan Club, I am proud to announce that the first episode of the Well Minority Podcast will debut on March 2nd. So stay tuned.
Let's fucking go. Let's go, friend. Cheech and Chong are ready.
Muted.
Cheech and Chong ready. Pat, you still muted, but I know you're excited.
I'm sorry. I was like 6, and so I had to mute. But congratulations. That's like amazing. I'm so excited.
Let's fucking go, friend.
Also, Jade is
I said this on Twitter. I'm gonna say
wait,
it
Jade
again.
is wrestling right now, so
exactly. I just said this on Twitter. I'm gonna say it again. We are just getting started. Follow those wrestling girls. Follow everyone involved in those wrestling girls. We are just getting started. You think you see everything? You think you see people pull up on press conferences?
You ain't seen shit.
Or a fan club, or sound offs, or collisions. Man, if you know what we got in store this year, bro, 2023
shit.
Blessings upon blessings upon blessings. Follow and get ready.
Yes. So should we watch this match as a family before we head off?
It'll be over soon. So yeah.
Oh, because right now,
I'm sorry.
So for those in the chat, Jade is now wrestling at the moment. She's got the fire outfit, literally. She's got a fire outfit.
I better see balloons fly from the rafters. I need to see an extravagant celebration that this Black woman will reach 50 and 0 on the first day of Black History Month.
And I know we didn't give her proper flower. I know no one really gave her proper flowers, but she went a calendar year as champion and has yet to lose. Can we get that?
She deserves all the flowers. Yeah, she deserves everything. Like that was
say what you want about Jade Cargill, a Black woman going a calendar year as champion without losing, without even coming close to losing, still holding a belt, and she could probably hold 2 belts because she could challenge the AEW Women's Championship whenever she wants.
And look at her hair; she's just gorgeous.
Well, let's just take this a step further. She's still learning, and to be able to learn on the job,
she's just doing better.
To be able to do an incredible job while she's learning. You know, you can say what you want about booking, but guess what? They're keeping the title on her for a reason. You know, if it was failing, they would. I think Tony Khan is that smart. You know, he would have taken the title off. So
let's take another step further. Black excellence, like Ho says. Bianca Belair is almost going to go calendar year as your Roman champion. Jade Cargill has gone an entire calendar year as your TBS champion.
Yep. That's huge.
That's a huge way to open up Black History Month with these two beautiful women as the pillars of like, see what Bianca's doing in WWE, see what Jay's doing in AEW, and that's just the beginning. They're a future.
No, for sure. It's just also
Bailey's there too. I know.
I saw.
Oh, I just because it was like 7 minutes. I was like, Wheel of Fortune.
AEW.
So
I'm about to say
no, Wheel of Fortune. Anybody else like
a celebrity Wheel of Fortune?
Low key, that's like a bucket list of mine. Wheel of Fortune. So Price is Right.
Bailey, as a Latina or Latina, you have a high bar because for those who could pull it up, Google Austin Creed on Wheel of Fortune. That's the bar.
Liv is there too.
What Xavier Woods did on Wheel of Fortune,
Liv is there too.
That's like historic shit that Xavier Woods was doing on Wheel of Fortune. Like he was made
PWI and so that's PWI Insider Wheel of Fortune is filming WWE Week today. Liv Morgan, Bailey, and Big E are set to be involved in the tapings airing late March, right before WrestleMania.
So that'll be a Google search besides our women's highlight for the indies. Pull up Xavier Woods, Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, damn. Just tossing that girl around like a goddamn rag doll. Jesus Christ, Jade.
She can do whatever she wants.
Jade literally pick the girl and put her back in the ring. Damn.
You are head.
She gotta drop the regimen. Just drop the regimen. Like
that's what happens when you have the TBS app. I don't actually have a body,
but you have a body that a lot of people, men and women, want. Drop the fucking regimen.
No, seriously.
She was like,
No, she'll be like, you gotta pay for this. Shout out to Manny Rose.
Right.
Well, because we know Jay's in the gym. You could tell by that body that she eats clean, she drinks clean, she takes good care of her body.
Yo, it's her and Kira. Kira takes real good of her body. Like,
she looks amazing.
She specifically told the commentators, it's Kiera. It's Kiera.
Come on. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. What the fuck? Damn it.
Wait. Ref, what are we doing? Ref, count.
I'm gonna mute myself because I'm ahead.
Thank you.
Get on the computer, Brian. You're welcome.
You said get on? No.
If you watch it on the computer, you be ahead.
On a TBS app.
I'm on the phone, so I'm a slight delay on the phone. Plus Sling.
Get your lives. Get Xfinity. How about that?
That's what I'm looking at in Xfinity, but on the Roku.
The way you want to Roku savings word,
there's your failure right there.
No, the streaming device.
You're on a Roku, honey. There's your problem.
Wow. Let me see TBS online. Watch live. Oh my gosh.
I will say this: AEW is doing a better job giving the women time because they've heard us complain about 9:30, 5-10 minute match. This will be about to be a sprint because we gotta get to the main event. They're giving these women time. So
wow, I just saw the finish because I turned on the app.
Told you the app is faster.
1, 2, 3, and
just mine.
Undefeated.
I need to see
50
balloons.
and they ain't gonna do no damn balloons.
And still, Queen Thor.
I need money to fall from the sky.
Let me ask y'all this though: how would y'all feel if it was Layla Gray the one to defeat her?
There's more story with the former baddies. It just writes itself. It's so stupid.
Oh, look at her daughter. Okay. Look at her baby.
At this point, I want her to take the AW Women's Championship, be the undisputed women's champ, and be like,
her daughter's so happy for her. Oh, I
love it.
She should get to stand at the top of the ramp. See what I mean? It's just like how you treat it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, see, and that's the
my
thing.
only issue.
Said something about Santos Escobar. No, on the indies they'll say like, "Why are you bringing out your kids? You got you have you're a heel. You shouldn't have your kids, but when you that dominant, it's like, look, I'm still taking care of my family. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm getting this money.
Yay, Ruby is on my TV.
On that note.
Well, that's a great way to close it with some Black excellence. Shout out to Red Velvet. I really wish she I don't know,
damn. Just
he was through.
So there you go.
Good.
He kicked himself out. It's that crown.
You good?
No, the internet just acted up right there, so I had to refresh everything.
Oh, I thought you.
Wait, I got kicked out for what?
No.
We thought you kicked yourself out.
We thought,
we thought you was like, I'm gonna just see myself out.
No, I was just saying, like, you know what Jay should do right now is go after the AW Women's Championship, have both titles, and be like, I dare any of y'all in the back to come beat this.
But that's a good question. Who does she have left?
The top tier, because she hasn't faced Britt. She hasn't faced Jamie.
Give her Britt right now.
She hasn't faced.
Tony's not stupid.
But at the same time, but here's the thing: she hasn't faced the top tier yet, but she's undefeated. So if you're undefeated, 50 matches, and you're still holding this belt, why are you not going after Britt? Why are you not going after Jamie? Why are you not going after the AW Women's Championship if you're still undefeated and this and that? Either you drop the belt and go for the top title, or you go after the top title and be like, none of y'all bitches have beaten me. Why am I dealing with this mid-tier shit when I can come for this top tier and take that too? Because none of y'all could beat me either. And it's been a year now, so it's like, it makes perfect sense, which is like, who's your next opponent? This girl that has yet to lose a fucking match, period?
Nah, I say she drop it to somebody that they want to build up, and then she take over the main title. I think that's how it should go. I hate double champ.
Get angry, like lose, and gotta get angry.
I hear you, but this is one of the few times where it actually makes sense for her to be a double champ.
It does, but if there was more significant storytelling behind her title reign, I would be okay with that, because then it just seems lazy to me. Also, it's coming from someone that doesn't watch AW Weekly, but it just seems lazy to me. Like the whole Red Velvet shit. Like, come on, her match with Kiera Hogan should have been something. Like, it just, I don't know. It just all just seems like it's lackluster. And if it wasn't for Jade Cargill's star power and her being Jade Cargill, it would all just feel lackluster. So
right on the money.
That's my thing. But on that note, we are going to end. We're going to close the club tonight. Make sure you tune in to Wrestling Realm live tonight. Brian H.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Shout out to Dwayne Allen. Shout out to Brother Hugh.
Thank you.
One of them and to the other one. But they're fun. It's a fun show. I like tuning into it. I'll keep it at that. And I want to thank everyone who tuned in for this week's fan club. We're here every Wednesday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. And on that note, we will see you next week.
Peace.